WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
I have a couple of mind-blowing stories to start off with here this morning. Always like that, right? It's always good. We'll speak with Ray Stagic coming up in a second, involving this warmer stretch, but the rain. A lot of rain yesterday. And then it turned nice. Night. And then all of a sudden it turned nice. And then last night we ended up getting more rain last night. Lots to get to here this morning. Ryan Nobles is on. Way later on, Sam Testa.
Actually, that just got moved to tomorrow now.
Is tomorrow, okay. And she, of course, is going to dig in a little to this craziness of the hunting in the hunting in the basement of the city hall and KDIL and all of that. Some really, really odd stuff. Jonathan Savage, the latest. President Trump saying now he's looking at maybe getting out of this war, although it's the same timeline, saying it'll be another 2 weeks, but we'll be out very soon. Meanwhile, once again, the president makes that statement and the stock market explodes, and it did in a good way yesterday. And a bunch more we will get to today, including Habaika's free money question of the day. Let's see. You want these two crazy stories?
Yeah, is one of them weather related?
No, what do you have weather related?
Well, no, I thought maybe something wild happened with all the rain at your house.
I don't have
filled itself back up.
You know what I do have, and maybe Beth can. I have saved the pool cover, and I do think it was this unique phenomenon where so much ice and snow got on top of it that it pushed the cover down, and it was like a block of ice, which pushed the water out of the pool. I don't think there's a leak.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
then.
And the cover is back. I bought new hooks for the cover, and my cover is back. So go figure. I was able to fix this one on my own. That is shocking. So that's not it. Although I will tell you that maybe Beth can help. I have a shed. Doesn't everybody?
Yeah.
I have a shed in the backyard, which I know woodchuck, rabbits have been living underneath that for since I've lived there. It was there before I got there. Nonetheless, 3 days ago, I saw going in underneath a rather large, what I believe is a female fox, red fox with a dark tail. And now you can see where something underneath there, fox, I assume, has gotten a lot of dirt out from underneath it and moved it out. So my guess is
she's denning.
She's denning under the shed, where she probably will have, or already does have,
kits.
What do they call them?
Kits.
Yep. Or babies.
Wow.
Kits. I'll call them kits.
So the fox took the chairs and the hose out and everything out of the shed there?
Oh, yeah. Shed,
making room?
As a matter of fact, added
if you're going to do it right.
Added a wood stove. It's
added a wood stove.
I wouldn't have known it until I saw the chimney pop up.
That's great.
Pipe. So, anyway, no, this is underneath the shed. However, now when you're walking out there, normally a fox would be afraid and would run.
Right.
But when you're dealing with kits,
well, they're a species of wildlife that have gotten very comfortable living around people.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly, the back of your property is up against a wooded space, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So,
actually, it's an L. It's woods to the left and woods all the way to the back.
Yeah.
So.
My best advice at this point, if she doesn't already have kits, before she has them, is to call a service that removes wildlife so she can be relocated.
Yeah,
and
I think I'm gonna have to do that.
And then block off, find where the fence,
to get in.
Your property fence has access points in it somewhere.
Yeah.
And then block those and block the shed.
Because otherwise, that thing is going to try to defend its babies.
Yep, and you will notice, that the population of local rabbits and
already
squirrels
noticed
and that kind of stuff
there isn't a
dropping.
rabbit in sight. Now, I'm okay with that because these rabbits tend to eat every plant that my wife puts in the ground. So, nonetheless, it is what it is. All right, 2 stories. I want to just wet your whistle here with these 2 stories this morning.
Okay.
Did you see the story where they were doing the I don't know, Army helicopter pilots were doing training, and they ended up flying over to Kid Rock's.
Oh, the Apaches, yeah.
Flew over top of Kid Rock's by his pool. And Kid Rock is out there. He apparently has a Statue of Liberty at his pool. I find that interesting. And he's giving them the salute. They're taking pictures. They
posting
flew there,
it on his social media.
Posted it up on the social media. So clearly they did a flyover basically at Kid Rock's place. So of course he posts it all, and the Army says they are investigating. Yesterday they announced that the pilots have been suspended upon further investigation. Yesterday, Pete Hegseth came out and said, "Suspension over. I've lifted all punishment," and overruled all of those who made that decision in the Army. I find that, it's one of those things where today's April Fool's Day, and I remember remember Top Gun. Mm-hmm. And he would fly over the tower and he'd be like, "I'm going to get you."
Yep.
And, the general or whatever was all upset. It's kind of one of those things where you did it. You're going to get suspended. You're going to get reprimanded. You just deal with it. But then you got Pete Hegseth that's basically saying, rules don't matter. Rules don't matter. But maybe everybody's okay with something like that.
I think he ended it. I don't know if you caught the whole clip, but he ended it with, "And that's the bottom line."
I think he did.
Because Hegseth said so.
And that's that story. And the second
2 beers
story,
together.
the second story is going to blow your mind. There's a report out today that as they're trying to finalize their case against the kid who shot and killed Charlie Kirk. And this is not some podunk conspiracy theory website. This is real news. The FBI, their forensic team, is not able to match the bullet with the gun.
Wow.
The FBI, listen to this. The FBI says, and if they can't, it will blow up their case against this kid. The FBI is not able to match the bullet that killed Charlie Kirk with the gun that was fired by that kid. Now, there have been so many conspiracy stories about this whole thing, that maybe there was another shooter, somebody else wanted him, there was something overseas. I mean, I don't know what to. That stuff seems so ridiculous. But then when they come out and say, "We can't match that bullet with this kid's gun," what in the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
So there are your 2 mind-blowing stories for the morning. The other is we got a lot of rain. It could have been worse, but a lot of rain and warmer temperatures. As I'll speak, and so Ray can make fun of me. That heat dome that was out in the west seemed to move to the east and is doming over top of us, or something like that I've never heard of until recent times. Sure. Good morning, Ray.
Sure. Hey, good morning. And a couple things. Yeah, a bunch of rain yesterday. Came down pretty quickly, anywhere from, let's just say on average, you get out near Amsterdam and out near Albany, it was about 1 inch to 3/4 of an inch. But as you came closer and came down the Mohawk Valley, we had 2.02 inches in 24 hours. That's Whitesboro. The big total up north, as you get up into Adams, 2.82 inches. And there are some flood warnings left over, not only for the Black River up north, but also along the Mohawk River in some spots, some minor flooding, some of the farmland areas with the rainfall and some of the snow melt and the heavy rain, too, experiencing some flooding. Still flood watch, but you take a peek at radar this morning, you're kind of like, well, that looks a little bit better. Certainly not much rain left over the next couple of days. We're kind of nickel and dime today, chance tomorrow. And every day you might see the little icon that says, rain. Everybody be, whoa, it's going to rain.
Yeah,
Well, it's going to be more hit and miss stuff.
Even yesterday, by afternoon, we had sunshine. It was 70 yesterday.
Yeah, it was crazy. And we're going to stay cooler. We'll trend cooler right now. We're seeing up in the Tug Hill Plateau some 30s. Probably going to make the low 50s today, and that's going to probably about do it, as temperatures really aren't going to rise too much from where we are. Some of us are already there. So basically steady temps, and then I'm going to go back into the 40s tomorrow for highs, and then jump back up maybe to 70 by Friday, Saturday 70, and then around the showers even for Easter Sunday. So temperatures back to 60 degrees, and then back into the 40s Monday. There could be some snowflakes around on Monday. Now everybody's kind of like, well,
it's over.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
It's been 70 degrees, but it's April.
It is,
right?
yeah.
It's April, and it can happen, and we always do this. You get tired of it, like every year. It gets warm, and then it snows, and everybody's like so shocked that it snowed in early April.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Like we're over this. We've now made the move. You're pulling out lawn furniture.
Right.
Beware.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I think I was just talking to my mother's like, don't forget, we had that storm on Mother's Day that one year.
Mm-hmm.
But the good news is
remember that
she remembers it very well. The good news is that the ground is warmer, so anything that we do get kind of goes pretty quickly. And speaking of going quickly, man, did we lose? Usually it just lingers. The snow lingers. We lost so much snow in March. I mean, everything's, at least here in the valley, everything's gone.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's still some when you get into the woods up north, but, those are the shady areas up in some of the highest parts of Tug Hill Plateau where, it's basically gone and hard packed.
Yeah.
But, it's that time of year, and, you get these big fluctuations still even in April. And as you said, you could still go from 70 or 75 to maybe even 80 degrees at times, back into the 40s. Early next week, low and mid 40s, and overnight lows back in the 20s. So it's not planting season just yet, right?
Yeah.
And I do want to say, speaking of winter, if anybody's paying attention, there's places in northern Michigan, Minnesota, and the Dakotas are still experiencing winter. Big storm developing, going to spread heavy snow there. So there are places that are still experiencing some big-time winter, but the heat and that big heat dome out in the west continues to break down just a bit, but it's been a very mild, as you said. We lost a lot of that snowpack in March. It's been relatively mild since about early and mid-March until about now, and I think I think we're done with the real cold stuff.
Yeah. All right. So it won't be for Easter. It won't be that bad.
It'll be warm.
Probably gonna rain.
Yeah.
I'd say first part of the day may taper off in the afternoon, but it'll be chillier in the afternoon, evening hours. So Sunday morning services on Sunday, Easter Sunday, sunrise. At least today, I would tell you to prep for some wet weather.
Yeah. All right, Ray. Yeah. Good stuff. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
Yep. You too.
All right, Ray Stagic with the Weather Channel. But you do have you will always have those people that are like, well, look at this weather. I don't have to worry anymore, and we will be shocked when it rains, right, or when it snows, and it probably will, and we're probably good for another storm or so. Manaski with an update right now.
Well, Bill, we are still dealing with some rain showers here on and off this morning, and we have 54 degrees. This news update is brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Another day of deliberations is on tap today at the Oneida County Courthouse. Former corrections officer Jonah Levy faces charges that he participated in the assault that led to the death of inmate Messiah Nantwi in 2025. If convicted, he faces up to 25 years to life in prison. 2 stores in Rome remain closed after investigators say they were found selling illegal marijuana products. Officials say they seized cannabis flower and concentrates, as well as 2,900 nicotine-flavored vapes from Brooklyn Exotics. And they also discovered illegal cannabis and vapes at Prince Convenience. Those businesses will not be allowed to reopen again until a hearing from the State Office of Cannabis Management. It is April 1st, and New York State does not have a budget. Lawmakers and Governor Hochul missing the deadline to pass an on-time state budget. This is the fifth time since Governor Hochul took office that a budget has not been approved by April 1st. Both the state Senate and Assembly passing budget extenders yesterday that will help keep New York running and ensure that state employees can get their paychecks. And a mother and father plead guilty in connection with the death of their 3-year-old daughter. Matthew and Samantha Diluski admitted to their role in the passing of Jocelyn Diluski, who was found living in horrific conditions at a Corinth apartment last February. An autopsy revealed the child died of chronic neglect and lack of care causing her body to shut down. The couple is scheduled to be sentenced in May. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 6:38. We're going back to weather?
Sure. Let's
Here's Ray Stagic with
the official forecast.
After 1 to 3 inches of rain yesterday, 2.33, for example, in Whitesboro, the flooding continues. Along the Mohawk, there's flooding and a flood warning in some areas until Friday afternoon. Good news is that the overcast is here, but the rain showers will be more widely scattered today. 52. Tonight, a passing shower at 2:38. Tomorrow, a few showers around, otherwise cloudy and breezy at a high of about 45. Chance of showers and thunderstorms on Friday, with a high of 73. I'm meteorologist Ray Stagic from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Still some rain and 54 at 6:39.
Don't rely on a standard off-the-shelf security system. When it comes to protecting your home, there's a big difference between plug and play and a professionally designed system. At CML Security, security is personal. Their skilled technicians meet with you one-on-one, walk your property, and design a custom system built around your family's needs. From security cameras, intrusion systems, and smart home features, they can also add a level of fire protection to their intrusion systems. They install commercial-grade equipment and provide a warranty on systems that they install. Call CML Security at 315-866-5845 today to schedule your in-home consultation. That's 315-866-5845 or visit cmlsecurity.net. Based in Herkimer, they serve the central New York area. CML Security. Call 315-866-5845. Personalized protection your family can trust.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This is WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Established, reputable
News the Mohawk Valley can trust. WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
You know, I was thinking about this date is the 50th birthday of Apple. And you know I'm such a fan.
Yeah, you're a fan.
And Mike and Skylar is a big fan. I'm surprised we haven't heard him calling in wishing happy birthday to Apple. But think about what things that have occurred in history that have had just a shocking effect on society. Like, I think we have one right now, AI. I think AI is going to ultimately turn out to be one of those things that changes the world. And we're in the middle of it right now. So it's unique that we as a generation of people have been through a few of these. So, like, a real game changers. You have AI. You do have the iPhone. Like, the iPhone and the personal computer were enormous. I mean, what else before that was... I mean, there's always been big things, bad things, enormous things, but something that changed the world like the iPhone. I mean, that just...
Well, I mean, cell phones in general.
Like Kim Cabetta was talking about how flashlights, alarm clocks,
transistor radios, the phone, that phone, which really developed out of the BlackBerry and the regular flip phone, but that device now has just become something that everybody has at every second, and it's changed people's lives. Well, and the amazing thing is, there's more technology in this phone than there was in the Apollo space missions.
That's true. My guess is this next mission that happens today, there will be a little more technology on that one.
Yep.
But it's so what was huge before the iPhone? Was it obviously we went from the record to the 8-track to the cassette to
you mean technology-wise, or just
in terms
things?
of not just technology, but just to change the world? That's not big. That's not big enough in music. But the car, maybe.
I was just going to say the automobile.
Yeah, the automobile, or plane travel. Travel on. I mean, these are big things, but it didn't really change the world like the iPhone, and I don't think any of it will change the world like AI is about to change the world. I spoke to somebody yesterday who said they're all worried at their workplace because they just they began installing an AI system yesterday.
Is my job going to disappear?
Is my job going to disappear?
Well,
and I think they all fear they're kind of a data entry place. And guess what?
Oh, yeah.
That's not... that doesn't feel good. Let me bring in, hold your thought, and I'll bring in Joe Lode, who's on the road. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Bill. A life changer for me in my lifetime was the microwave oven.
I love that.
Now, you know what? He's kind of right about that.
It is a biggie. That's a biggie. But I'm not sure.
Where else can you get movie-style popcorn at home?
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
My grandmother used to make a baked potato in minutes.
She used to what?
She used to make a baked potato in minutes.
In minutes, right? In minutes.
It would take forever in the oven. It would take minutes in a microwave.
That's a good point. Yeah, think of the time that was just shaved off by adding the microwave oven.
All the bachelors who don't eat breakfast cereal for dinner anymore.
Yes.
Because they can heat stuff up.
Warm that meal up. I do think the air fryer has been a real game changer. I mean, you put like French fries that are all soggy in an air fryer, and all of a sudden it's like they just came out of the restaurant.
Meatballs, too.
Yeah.
Put meatballs in there.
So I specifically remember to this day when my grandmother got a microwave. It was huge. It was like, like those old box-style televisions.
Yeah. Oh, it was big.
It was large, yes. And I remember, I don't know if it was Maytag, Sears, Montgomery Ward. The guy came over. I mean, I say installed it. I mean, he opened the box and put it on the counter and plugged it in. And then ran a little demo for my grandmother. And I remember him saying, and he looked at me and he goes, "Do not look into the microwave while it's on. You're going to damage your eyes. Do not look in there when this is on." And I was like, because I don't know, somewhere between 3 and 5.
To this day, you won't look at a microwave.
I specifically remember that. It was a big deal. It's a good one, Joe.
And don't put metal in there. No tinfoil.
The metal thing. And didn't we all do it just to do it?
I didn't do it just to do it.
Well,
we used to put pickles in it.
Pickles?
Burger King. We used to do that when I used to work at Burger King. We were bored.
Yeah.
We'd microwave pickles and they'd get really crispy.
You know there are people that that put that will not put a microwave in their home. They believe
Because
that
of the
it's
radiation?
cancer causing, and a microwave will not go in their home. So crazy. All right, Joe, that changed your world. And just think how amazing it is at melting the butter. 10 seconds at a time, it turns that butter into liquid butter shots. If you remember those days, Joe. All right, Joe. Thank you.
Did you call him Joeth?
Joeth. Joe used to go to the. He had a thing where he'd go to like Red Lobster and do butter shots.
Oh, yeah.
Cups of
Oh,
butter.
wow.
Let me go to Jonathan Savage right now. New news yesterday from President Trump, and it's so interesting to watch when the president makes his announcement. The stock markets completely, immediately react, and it did yesterday, having a big plus, a big up as the president announced, the war is almost over. But it doesn't seem that way if you're over there. Jonathan Savage is with Fox News right now. What do we know starting the day off today, Jonathan? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. President Trump said yesterday that the U.S. will leave Iran in, he thinks, 2 to 3 weeks. And we might get more detail on that a little bit later on. 9 o'clock Eastern, President Trump's going to provide an important update on Iran in a televised presidential address. In the meantime, though, the strikes are continuing in all directions, with the United States hitting what we're told was precision munitions on an underground military target deep inside Iran. Israel saying it's attacked a factory which was involved in producing chemical weapons. Meanwhile, in Israel, Iranian attacks have injured 29 people, including a girl who's in a critical condition. So the back and forth is continuing. There's a fire at a Kuwaiti airport. There's an oil tanker which has been hit in the Gulf. So yes, despite President Trump's suggestion that the war is ramping down, we're seeing no sign of it just yet.
How do we, how do we get back to the point where, here's where we want to go. We want to go to a point where Iran has no ability to lob missiles or drones, where Iran has no ability to develop a nuclear program, and where Iran will not threaten, and the key here is threaten, not just bomb or send a drone and blow up an oil tanker, but not threaten, therefore allowing the rest of the world to flow smoothly and safely and confidently through the Strait of Hormuz. So how do we get there? Because that's the real end of the war, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that a lot of countries in the Middle East are very concerned about getting things economically and socially back to normal. Things were at least stable for them. They were able to develop their economies. They were able to export their oil and gas around the world, and that was helping them thrive economically as countries and as a region. And now Iran, as a result of this conflict, has proven to itself that it's able to exert immense pressure on those countries and on the global economy simply by threatening vessels transiting this very narrow strait through which 20% of the world's oil will travel. And that is now one of the main issues here. This was a problem which these countries say didn't exist before Operation Epic Fury, and they're wondering how long it will remain a political and economic headache. So this is something that they're hoping to try to solve.
And then the rift that we have with our traditional allies, the UK and France, President Trump blasting both of them for not getting involved, certainly enough or at all in some cases.
Yeah, Spain, Italy, and Germany as well have come in for criticism from President Trump. He suggested that the UK should take control of the Strait of Hormuz itself, has been angry at France for not allowing overflight of military supplies. France didn't allow US planes carrying military supplies to fly over French airspace, something that Spain has also done. Italy also told the United States military that they couldn't use an Italian airbase for bombers to take off and land as part of this conflict. So, yeah, there's a major rift, real strains between Washington and the traditional European partners.
And meanwhile, some Middle Eastern countries are saying to the United States, don't go. We want you to finish the job here.
Yeah, some of Iran's neighbors are saying that they are concerned that this war could end without the job being finished. What they want is a significant change in Iran's leadership or a dramatic shift in how Iran's leaders behave. They have been targeted by Iranian missiles and drones since this conflict began. We talked earlier about the Strait of Hormuz. So according to the Associated Press, senior figures from Saudi Arabia, the UAE and others have told the US, don't end this military operation, please, until Iran has been changed.
Okay, we'll see where today goes. And, of course, the president speaking today may tell us a great deal later on this morning. Jonathan Savage, thanks so much. We appreciate the update.
Thank you.
Jonathan Savage from Fox News Radio. It is, we have heard a few times that we're almost done, it's over. And you wonder, is that, and that 2 to 3 week timeline is something I don't think is any much of a surprise. It's kind of what they've been giving us, that 4 to 6 weeks since the beginning they've been talking about. Meanwhile, here, gas prices continue to rise. It is interesting, though, when people talk about the gas prices, there's always someone in the conversation that's like, yeah, but it's a small price to pay to not have a nuclear bomb lobbed at us from Iran. How close were we, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know
the
about
question. That. And when we leave, are there capabilities at zero or been knocked back by a decade? That'll be the question.
If that's what was at stake, I guess it is a small price to pay, paying an extra $1 a gallon to not be nuked off the planet. But we've talked about this before. I thought we already took care of the problem
back in
10 months ago or whatever it was.
Please, let's not forget that. Do we believe that this is the only country on the planet that has that capability?
Well, we do not, of course, and it is.
So that's not solving a problem.
Right now, you're looking
perceived
at
problem.
North Korea bragging about what they have or don't have, and I don't know, how do we? And the drone thing has completely changed the world of warfare, where these drones can be made at such a low cost. And ultimately turn into
so impactful.
Yeah, it's just it's changing everything.
You can use a $100 drone to bring down a $2 billion aircraft.
Yeah.
And not only that, this went back to the Maduro capture when the soldiers. I'd read this article. I mentioned it on the air briefly, but the soldiers talked about the Venezuelan soldiers talked about some type of a device with they're essentially describing like sirens or loud noises, but that kind of crippled them.
That's been used before.
Not physically, but their infrastructure.
No,
physically.
Oh, even them.
Yes, and then it was like some microwave technology.
That's been used before.
Well, that's been used against us believed to be by China or Russia, where they're in fact we have. There was just a piece on 60 Minutes maybe 6 months ago about it, where these CIA agents are basically disabled now because of damage that was done to
psychological warfare,
to their brains, physical damage that was done to their brains by whatever this microwave technology was. So
20 GW microwave, I guess that's gigawatt. Chinese scientists build the first 20 gigawatt microwave weapon with an output of over 1 gigawatt.
Literally, it was the report on 60 Minutes showed how someone could actually go outside of a hotel, pull up outside a hotel, and target someone inside the hotel.
Wow.
It makes you kind of wonder. The world is
no
changing.
more microwaves now.
Well, today is that's what Joe and you were so worried about with the microwave oven. Back in the day, what is the first thing you ever cooked in the microwave?
Oh boy, I couldn't tell you. It was probably popcorn.
I remember it well. I guess I didn't do the cooking, but it was. I remember my uncle had gotten a microwave, and it was a big deal. He was also the first to get the first color TV, which was a big deal. But you got to try the ho-ho. So you put it. You got to take the aluminum off it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because it had aluminum foil on it, the original ho-hos. And you put the ho-ho in on a paper towel and just give it a little bit of a warm-up, and it would come out all warm and fudgy. But you didn't want to do too much because it would scald your tongue, and you'd be scolded for the scalding.
Other than popcorn, I have to be honest, there aren't too many things I've actually cooked in a microwave typically I just use it to warm things up. I'm sure I've done hot dogs a couple times.
And pizza is the worst thing you can put in a microwave to warm it up. It just
because the crust gets really tough.
Yeah.
I found chicken too. If there's bone-in chicken and you warm it up, it gets kind of an odd taste.
Yeah. Mike, this morning, I'm sure Beth, remember, what do you want me to do, Davey? Go to the top? Okay. I'm sure Beth remembers when she was at the zoo on April Fool's Day and people would call for Mrs. Fox.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And this is Mike, I've never heard of a war.
Count your lions. There might be one on the parkway.
I have never heard of a war whose goal is set by the amount of days when we are committed rather than reaching the goals that we are looking to reach. It really kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. Could I get by you here? Because I'm going here, Davey. Take it for what it is. So, all right, next hour, I do want to talk about Val Bialis. And Mark Ford is from Shipwright, and he actually operated Val Bialis a while back and has some ideas for that going forward. And the free money question next hour. Struggling to get your windows to work this winter? Well, there's an upgrade event going on right now. It's a trade-in and upgrade. Homeowners get $100 instant trade-in credit towards new energy-efficient New York Sash windows. Spring is the perfect time, and if budget is your concern, they have flexible financing options. Don't wait. It's a limited-time offer through the end of April. Contracts needing to be signed by the end of the month. It's New York Sash and NewYorkSash.com.
Mike Rowe here with a radical idea. If you want to see more companies make more things in this country, buy more things from more companies who make things in this country. I refer in this case to the incredible T-shirts, sweatshirts, blue jeans, and more made by my friends at American Giant. Everything American Giant makes is made in the United States. And right now, you can take 20% off your first order at american-giant.com/Mike. That's american-giant.com/Mike.
The Scharf family has been serving Central New York plumbing and heating needs for over 100 years. Scharf Plumbing and Drain is a fully insured, licensed professional contractor providing both residential and light commercial installations and repairs. Give Frank and his team a call today at 315-796-5750. 315-796-5750. Scharf Plumbing and Drain. They want to be your plumber.
WIBX Utica Road, W295 Utica.
From the WB Tate Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
Who gets to be born an American citizen? I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The Supreme Court hears arguments about that this morning, and President Trump says he'll be there for the hearing. Fox's Tanya J. Powers.
The issue before the Supreme Court is whether President Trump's executive order that seeks to end birthright citizenship is legal or not. Lower courts have ruled that the action violates or likely violates the 14th Amendment. Birthright citizenship automatically makes anyone born in the U.S. an American citizen, even if the mother is in the country illegally.
Or temporarily. 33 countries offer birthright citizenship. At 9 p.m. Eastern, President Trump plans to address the nation about the military operation in Iran. He says it could be finished in 2 to 3 weeks, with or without a deal with Iranian leaders, or fully reopening the Strait of Hormuz to oil shipping traffic. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Fox.
We can see the finish line. It's not today, it's not tomorrow, but it is coming.
He says the operation has stopped Iran from developing missiles capable of reaching the United States. The president wants new requirements for mail-in ballots.
An executive order directs federal agencies to create a national list of eligible voters in each state to verify vote-by-mail ballots.
Cheating on mail-in voting is legendary. It's horrible what's going on.
President Trump has long complained about voting by mail, alleging that it allows fraud, despite few cases of such. The order also requires ballots to have secure envelopes, traceable with barcodes.
And remember, it's about voter integrity. We want to have honest voting in our country.
The order is likely to face legal challenges. States are largely responsible for conducting elections. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
So far, so good in Florida for the launch of the Artemis 2 mission, sending astronauts on a trip around the moon. NASA's targeting a 2-hour launch window that opens at 6:24 p.m. Eastern and has said there's an 80% chance of favorable weather conditions for launch. If they don't get it done today, they can try again through April 6th. America's listening to Fox News.
Here he comes. Surprise! There's an avocado shortage! Now half your food truck menu is costing more than it's making you! Also, you're out of napkins!
Those aren't cheap! Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise? Saving 13% on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, an ice cream truck stole your parking spot! Looks like you're in a turf war!
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
29 people are reported killed in a Russian military plane crash in Crimea. Sources at the scene tell Russian news agencies the plane crashed into a cliff. There are conflicting reports about one person having survived. Russia seized Ukraine's Crimean Peninsula in 2014. President Trump says he feels bad for the family, and former Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says she's devastated by the discovery of her husband's online cross-dressing habit.
According to the Daily Mail, Brian Noem was talking to women from a so-called bimbofication fetish group that includes adult performers with large augmented breasts that were filled with saline to enhance the appearance. There were also reportedly several hundred messages between Noem and at least 3 women. One photo the Daily Mail claims Brian sent to the women appearing to show him wearing fake breasts along with pink hot pants and a tight flesh-colored suit. The Daily Mail reporting Brian, an insurance industry executive, allegedly sent some women as much as $25,000 via payment apps. The Noems also have 3 adult children.
Fox's Marianne Rafferty. It's April 1st. Time to keep an extra sharp eye out for fake news and pranks.
It's a day when truth and fiction are confused and even the origins of April Fools aren't clear. There's a possible reference in a collection of 14th century English stories, the Canterbury Tales. Pranks were firmly established in England by 1698 when people were tricked into visiting the Tower of London to see the annual ceremony of washing the lions. In 1508, a French poet referred to an April fish, and that's the term used in French-speaking parts of Europe to this day. Not everyone approves. In Thailand in 2021, police warned that posting or sharing fake news online could see you sent to prison. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Tiger Woods says he'll be stepping away from golf and seeking treatment after pleading not guilty to DUI charges. He was arrested after a rollover crash in Florida Friday. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News.
Cloudy skies, 54 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. News time is 7:05. This news update is brought to you by CSEA. Behind every traffic cone is a worker doing a job with a family waiting at home. Slow down, put the phone down, and move over safely. Another day of deliberations is on tap today in the trial of former Mid-State Correctional Officer Jonah Levy. Jurors requested to review body camera footage on Tuesday and asked the judge to define one of the several charges he is facing. It's alleged that Levy was involved in the 2025 beating death of inmate Messiah Nantwi. Levy denies wrongdoing, but he faces up to 25 years to life in prison if he is convicted. State lawmakers and Governor Kathy Hochul missing the budget deadline. This is the 5th time since the governor took office that a budget has not been approved by April 1st. Both the state Senate and Assembly passing budget extenders yesterday that will keep New York running and ensure that state workers get their paychecks. A spokesperson for the governor says she's committed to passing a budget that delivers relief for New Yorkers, and she will continue to negotiate in good faith. Utica police say they received a complaint regarding an inappropriate encounter at a medical provider's office. The victim stated that during an exam, the medical provider performed an invasive physical examination that was completely unnecessary. It made her feel uncomfortable and immediately left the office.
This story is unbelievable.
Following an investigation by the Criminal Investigation Division, 57-year-old Victor Petrovitz of Utica was arrested at his office on Trenton Ave in Utica. He is charged with one count of forcible touching, and Utica police say they are still investigating. 2 convenience stores in Rome still closed after being accused of selling illegal cannabis products. Authorities say they seized cannabis flower and concentrates, as well as 2,900 nicotine-flavored vapes from Brooklyn Exotics. They also discovered illegal cannabis and vapes at Prince Convenience. Those businesses will not be allowed to reopen until there's a hearing by the State Office of Cannabis Management. Today is National Walking Day, and to celebrate, the Boilermaker is opening up registration for the Boilermaker Walk, presented by Slocum Dixon Medical Group. The walk will take place at MVCC's Utica campus on Saturday, July 11th at 11 a.m., and you can now register for the Boilermaker Walk at Boilermaker.com. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 7:08.
After 1 to 3 inches of rain yesterday, 2.33, for example, in Whitesboro. The flooding continues. Along the Mohawk, there's flooding and a flood warning in some areas until Friday afternoon. Good news is that the overcast is here, but the rain showers will be more widely scattered today. 52. Tonight, a passing shower at 2:38. Tomorrow, a few showers around, otherwise cloudy and breezy at a high of about 45. Chance of showers and thunderstorms on Friday, with a high of 73. I'm meteorologist Ray Stagic from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Cloudy skies, possibly some light rain, 54 degrees at 7:09. All right, the NFL wrapping up its annual league meeting from Phoenix. Replay rules changes were approved. One to help potential replacement referees make the right call on penalties, and another which allows officials to retroactively disqualify a player if a flagrant act is missed. Plenty of team news also hit the headlines as well. Patriots coach Mike Vrabel did not rule out a trade for Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones says he has long-term plans for wide receiver George Pickens. Veteran pass catcher Odell Beckham Jr. already has met with the Giants about a possible reunion, and the Dolphins sold off a non-controlling 1% ownership of its team at a record $12.5 billion to a Chinese company. Other news, the Knicks dropped their third straight, the final 111-94 in Houston. Karl Anthony Towns had 22 points. The Nets were crushed by the Hornets, 117-86 at the Barclays Center. Brooklyn has now lost 11 of their last 12 games. Baseball action last night, the Mets were shut out by the Cardinals in St. Louis 3-0. The Yankees shut out the Mariners 5-0 in Seattle. New York looks for a series win in today's rubber match on the West Coast. I'll give you one more, Bill. Tiger Woods says he is stepping away for a period of time, end quote, to seek treatment and focus on his health after last Friday's rollover crash in Florida. Woods released a statement on his X account saying that he was committed to taking the time needed to return in a healthier, stronger, and more focused place, both personally and professionally. The golf icon pleaded not guilty to misdemeanor DUI charges yesterday. Woods has been charged with driving under the influence with property damage and refusal to submit to a lawful test. He waived his arraignment hearing, which was scheduled for April 23rd. Woods was arrested after the crash near his home in Jupiter Island, and was released by police hours later.
Did you have the story where he came out yesterday and said he's going into rehab?
He's stepping away, it says. This story doesn't specifically mention rehab, but he wants to be a healthier, stronger, and more focused person.
It's not rehab.
It could be. I don't.
The story I saw yesterday, the headline I saw yesterday was he was seeking treatment.
Yes.
Okay.
He wants to focus on.
Well, I think that's a smart move.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But we still wonder: could Tiger still make a comeback?
Yeah, I don't think he'll be at the Masters. I mean,
he's not going to be. We know he's not going to be at the Masters. The statement was he will not be at the Masters. He's seeking treatment. But what I'm saying is it leaves us to another another period down the road to wonder, could he possibly make a comeback? Most people, the answer to that is probably not.
No, but obviously he was one of the best of all time. So
no doubt. A few things on this Artemis mission, which will be around what did you say, Beth?
6:24 is what they're saying
tonight, and I think that'll be you'll see that all over your news and your network news will all cover that. The mission is about 10 days long. Do you know how long it takes to get to the moon? That's our question. How long does it take to get to the moon? Ready, go.
Are you taking 5 or 12? Which road are you taking?
I think we're going to go 12, the fast lane. The answer is apparently 4 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we want the
pack a sandwich.
So when we go to that dark side, they will be
cue up Pink Floyd.
It's the dark side of the moon, and they will. And apparently, no man has ever flown.
No, they'll be the farthest.
Or woman.
They'll be the farthest away from Earth that humans ever been.
And so they are going. You do go through deep space in order to get to the moon. So about 4 days. So at some point Saturday, there will be a big moment where we will lose contact with them for about 20 minutes. And the hope is that they come around.
And
they're doing what they're
again.
calling a slingshot trip around the moon. And I guess at that point, maybe they go around a couple times. I don't know. And then at some point we'll be heading.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Heading back home. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
When Uticans first tried that roundabout by the OD,
that's
there,
right.
They just
kind
go
of the same
around
thing.
and around.
Yeah. No. Okay. Now we're going around. How do we get off this thing? How do we stop it? There are 4 astronauts, 3 Americans and 1 Canadian. There are some firsts, some historic firsts, I believe. I believe it's the first black pilot to. I had the firsts here, but I have lost them, so I don't want to give you something that isn't correct. Nonetheless, the distance about 685,000 total trip distance. They'll travel hundreds of thousands of miles and swing thousands of miles beyond the far side of the moon. That's part of this. It'll be a 50-minute period with zero contact with Earth that will happen at some point on day 4, which will be Saturday. Day 10 will be reentry and splashdown into the Pacific, or the Pacific specifically. Sorry. And they will hit the atmosphere at about 25,000 miles per hour.
That's wild.
Yeah, it is really pretty wild.
Scheduled to lose contact for 50 minutes. I'm sure they can make a cell phone commercial out of this, right? Can you hear me now?
Sure. Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Oh, is it a drop call? Another drop call?
The beauty also is you can go any day you want, and there's something going on NASA's YouTube channel live. And missions that people don't really pay attention to, you can go to NASA and watch those. Usually watch them live, and it's a long haul because there's a lot of downtime. But when it gets to those key moments, it's pretty cool to watch it. I mean, just think about it. Years ago, you had to wait for network television to cover it. Now you can watch NASA every day.
Yep.
YouTube is a pretty historic, transformative.
I think it is.
medium.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Anybody can post a video on any topic.
Even us. Can you imagine?
Even us. You should try that sometime.
And let me tell you, the YouTube people are live and active this morning. I don't know if there's any more active messaging. We get it certainly on the app. We get a lot of messages, but nothing like the crew that listens every morning on YouTube. Not just from here, but really around the country. That people tune in. So you can check it out by going to Keeler live stream, and you'll find it on YouTube.
They have their own side conversations going on, and one of them here, I guess, Beth, what's your take on this? Who says this? I've lost the comment, but the comment was, I've always heard no planting until Memorial Day. That's from Nick. That's late.
They moved it. They actually moved it by 1 week up, like a couple of years ago.
I mean, pay attention to the weather. Don't pay attention to the calendar. I mean, usually when they say it's 50 degrees, it's consistently 50 degrees overnight and up, you're safe.
If you have a really warm spring,
you
would just have to treat it the same way you treat it in the fall, where you might have to cover stuff up at night, right?
But like
or
I said,
you could get some snow.
I mean, that's kind of like one of those Farmer's Almanac, old wives'
My mother
tales.
always said, you don't plant anything until Memorial Day.
Right.
That's the rule.
Well, and Memorial Day is the time that, everybody goes to the greenhouses and gets the flowers that sit on the porch for the summer and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because typically, which is lots of gray area around it.
You never know what happens in May.
Typically, you're to the point where you're not looking at freezing temperatures overnight.
Yeah.
Nick says, how about instant coffee in a microwave? Okay. Let's see. Ja Wick says, I
think the greatest invention ever was the Nespresso machine that makes espresso just by putting the pod in. Now, I realize if you go to an espresso aficionado, if you have one of the really nice $2,500, $5,000 machines, you're probably like
loser.
You're a loser with that espresso thing. But for me, I could pop 4 or 5 of those in a noon hour, and I'm good to go for another 6 hours.
6 hours, about 6 days.
Well, not quite that much, but it does work.
It's like my cousin Vinny. No self-respect and Southerner eats instant grits.
That's exactly right.
Ja Wick says, yes, all 3 of you are correct. Nothing was accomplished. We should have just given them pallets of cash. Okay.
Talking about the war.
Yeah.
I don't know what was accomplished, to be honest. And for some reason, I'm looking. YouTube was down its back. Anyway, you can comment on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, because you'll get an email every morning that says we're live. And you just click on that. You can watch it on your TV in your home, because most smart TVs have the YouTube app.
That's what we do.
It's very easy to do once you do it once. And it usually is pretty dependable. As well as our app, you go to the Google Play or in the App Store and search WIBX 950. Download for free the app onto your smartphone.
And as someone recently asked me, don't you need a prescription for that? You got to get a prescription, right? No. You do not need a subscription to watch
on the YouTube. It is not YouTube TV, which requires a subscription. It is the free part of YouTube. And there's a lot of TV on there.
You do hit a button that says subscribe.
Oh, yes.
But it's not a paid subscription.
Does not cost money.
It's free. Quick break, and we're going to talk about what can be done to make Val Bialis so much better next year. We're going to get to that coming up. Also, Jeremy. Maybe we can get Jeremy. See if Mark would be good with hanging for a few minutes, and then we'll get Jeremy first. Jeremy Rosenthal and his Rosenthal Report. We'll get to that first, and then Mark Ford is with Shipwright. I love Shipwright in that they do printing, any printing that you might need, but beyond the printing world, shipping. If you have to ship something, which I oftentimes ship to kids and people around the country, or you sell something on eBay. And it's like, God, I got to get a box. I got to make sure you pack it perfectly, because God forbid if it gets damaged, whether it be the right insurance on it. I just put everything in a box or even in a bag and go to Shipwright, and they do it for you. And it is cost effective, because you're going to pay for some of the service, but they're also getting you the best, most competitive price you can find when it comes to shipping. It is a great service, I think. But Mark ran Val Bialis. He reopened Val Bialis a few years back, and they got hit with the worst weather anybody could be hit with.
And that was before the snowmaking machines got put in, right?
And now it's a different world, it seems, our winters. And he has some ideas on what could make something that's already pretty great much greater for next year. We'll speak with Mark Ford on that. Coming up at WIBX.
Hurt in a car? Call William Attar. 315-444-4444.
It all began in 1985 with a single goal, a commitment to brighten our community. And with your kindness, that light grew brighter. Because for 40 years, you've helped Food Bank of Central New York deliver healthy food and hope. But that need continues to grow. So this year, please consider giving a little extra and make sure the light we shine together never goes out.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Looking for a great real estate agent? Someone who can help you sell your home fast and for top dollar? Go to ready.com, REDY.com. Because on Ready, agents will pay you just for the opportunity to sell your home. Yeah, on Ready, agents will pay you for your listing. Thousands of dollars up front just for a chance to sell your home. And it's easy. Just go to ready.com, enter your address, and when you want to sell. In just 48 hours, the best local agents are competing on Ready to be your agent with cash offers up front just to win your business. Hey, your listing is valuable. Don't give it away. Make those agents earn it. Get paid to pick your real estate agent. Go to ready.com or call 888-525-REDY. 888-525-READY.
Hey, it's your radio buddy Jimmy Fallon, host of Fox Across America. We're talking politics, pop culture, and comedy, minus all the rage and finger-pointing. It's real talk for real people who just want to laugh, think, maybe learn something along the way. So join the fun weekdays at noon right here on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, Central New York's home for talk that's smart, honest, and just the right amount of crazy. Fox Across America with your main man, Jimmy Fallon.
Hey, everybody in upstate New York. I don't know where in upstate New York, but thanks for listening to the Keeler Show. Never met this man. Don't know why I'm telling everybody to listen, but thank you very much. By the way, this is Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm. I have nothing else really to say to you, but I thank you for listening to me, tell you to listen to this man, Bill Keeler, on WIBX.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
And portions of the program brought to you by River Hills Properties. And River Hills is all about extra service. The services provided. Agencies around the country may do it, but not here. Your listing agent is there every time the house is shown. That's a big deal. It was for us. We wanted somebody there when our house was being shown, and River Hills was the only one we could find that would do it. Actually, we were once told, well, if your house was selling for $500,000 or $600,000, we would do it, but yours is not. So at the time, that's where we were. And River Hills did it, and they do it for everybody. It could be double wide in Stittsville, and your listing agent will be there. Offices throughout upstate New York. And have you thought about dabbling in the snowbird world, where you get away from these winters and you could enjoy the winter of, well, it was kind of cool in Florida this year, but certainly far better than what we had. They have offices in Sarasota as well, with a full list of agents ready to help you here and there. It's River Hills Properties, New York and Florida. River Hills Properties. Nobody sells homes like River Hills. Time now for our update with the one and only Jeremy Rosenthal and the Rosenthal Report. I think that one came back and hit me. Here he is, Jeremy Rosenthal. Jeremy, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. We're doing well. We hit actually 70 degrees here yesterday for just a little while.
Oh my gosh.
That was shocking.
Yeah, that's the apocalypse.
It is,
yes.
yes.
Isn't that one of the signs?
It is, yeah. When you see two robins and the temperature hits 70, we're about to get a snowstorm. I don't know if that is the case, but yeah.
April Fool's?
April Fool's Day. There we go. Here we are. So All right. I want to throw a couple at you,
Okay.
and we'll save Tiger Woods, but just a little bit about birthright citizenship. I find it very unique and unique. I'll use that word. The president is going to attend that hearing today. What are your thoughts? And all the initial reports that have come out is that the courts don't seem to be with the president on this one, but you never know, right?
You never know. This is a real hard argument, I think, for the administration to make. Basically, what you're saying is that people who are born in the United States, some of them are not citizens. And it's just never been interpreted that way. The 14th Amendment says that if you were born in the United States and you were, quote unquote, subject to our jurisdiction, then you're a citizen. This was, in the 14th Amendment, the purpose was to make sure that people born into slavery, when they were freed, were U.S. citizens. And the administration is arguing, well, when you say subject to the jurisdiction, it means that it talks about more about your political loyalty than where you physically are, right? And there's just, when you're talking about the U.S. Constitution, there's only so creative I think you can get with your interpretation of it.
Yeah.
It would be like saying, I have the right to bear arms. No. That means I have the right to take off the appendages of a bear and mount them on my wall.
Right.
It says right to bear arms.
Yes.
There's not a lot of support for that meaning. It means what we think it means. So that's why I think it's a hard argument.
We'll see where that goes. Odd, though, that the president is attending. I'll say that with a question mark.
Yeah, that's pretty unique. It's a pretty political issue for him, obviously, and I think that probably he's trying to make that statement. I don't know that the Supreme Court's going to be – I mean, they met the guy, right? They know the guy, so him sitting in the front row is not going to – now if he came to district court in Utica, that might kind of – that might cause the jury to view something a little differently. But yeah.
It certainly would make the news if that happened. And then Tiger Woods. I want to read a statement from Mike this morning. I know you're a big fan of Tiger, but the amount of stuff this guy has gotten away with makes me give him little sympathy. That's where I wonder where the public is on this. But legally, there's a lot to kind of uncover here. And the fact that he didn't take the blood test, I'd love to get your take on all of this.
So, okay, you've got a real interesting chasm, if you will, if I can use, such a word. Nobody at Texas Tech, where I went to undergrad, ever uses that word. We know how to, we're good at coloring and dinosaurs and things like that. But an interesting divide here, because really public perception is that he's screwed. Legally, this is a very hard DWI to prosecute because you're talking about strictly blood evidence, and he refused. He took a breathalyzer on the scene, blew a goose egg. He blew 0.0, and then they're thinking that he's junked up, and he's got hydrocodone on him. That's really, really, really hard to prove that impaired you. Alcohol is the only substance that has a per se level of impairment, 0.08. Studies show at 0.08, whether you're 300 pounds, whether you're, whatever, a minor at Syracuse in the tunnels there, you can't drive safely.
Yeah.
But there's no per se amount of some of these other drugs because they all impact you a different way.
Clearly, he... they always used to say that if you got into an accident, you've been drinking, run into the house and pull out a bottle of vodka and start drinking the vodka, because that will mean they can't prove whether it was before or afterwards. So legal technical moves that you might make that will help you legally. It does seem that he was pretty informed, and he knew I can give a breathalyzer, but I can't give a blood test. He seemed to know the law.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assessment of kind of his standpoint.
Yeah.
Now, again, I think he's convicted in the public eye, and that may be bad enough.
Yeah,
because he's still looking at a misdemeanor. He was never convicted of the first rollover.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, really, if you're talking about a guy getting away with stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, this guy gets in a lot of car accidents and walks away. So.
Yeah.
And half of my social media meet is memes about Tiger this week now. So.
Yeah, you're right. I think the public opinion thing could be very damaging. However, when it comes to prescription drug abuse, especially, we're a very forgiving country right now. You get help, and we handle that pretty well as a public.
Yeah, I think so. And I think he's got, again, I don't think that this is going to be legally the end of the world for him, but not going to be at the Masters. I think the whole world knows that this guy's got a lot of problems.
Yep, no doubt. All right, Jeremy, as always, we appreciate it. We'll do it again soon. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the week. And I'd love to hit the Charlie Kirk thing next week, where the FBI is saying they can't match the bullet with the kid who they say fired the gun. That could be a blockbuster next week. We'll see.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Jeremy Rosenthal with Fox News Radio. And I as I just said that, I feel like some weird conspiracy rabbit hole guy. But it's not. That was like that story was all over this morning. And can you believe that?
Well, it says it's inconclusive. They can't positively.
They can't positively, but how?
Apparently, there's a second test the FBI is conducting, which the results are.
I mean, how could it
yet
not
complete.
be that kid? He was on the roof. He had a gun. You saw you saw him come off the roof. How could it not be him?
There's when you talk about the rabbit holes, there's a lot of conspiracies on, and as a matter of fact, Candace Owens has done multiple shows and multiple alleged perpetrators involved in this.
They've got foreign countries involved.
Yes, she has.
In their eyes.
Yes.
In the rabbit hole eyes. All right.
Including Israel, by the way.
Coming up, we'll do a quick update. Hopeika's free money question of the day. And then Mark Ford is in. And a lot to talk about there on the future, his vision for Val Bialis. I think what we saw this year shows how great it could be and how much greater it could be, as I think how he's looking at it. We'll get to it. Coming up, it is April Fool's Day, 7:33 at WIBX.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Easter reminds us that new beginnings are possible. You can help the Rome Rescue Mission provide the chance of a new beginning for a family in our area. It's the Rome Rescue Mission's goal to help families in need this Easter season. With your generous support of $50, a family of 5 will enjoy a memorable Easter celebration. The Rome Rescue Mission will provide a family with a hot meal, a feeling of safety, knowing someone cares. From there, a person can rebuild a life. Through resurrection power comes freedom from the past and an unlimited future. Everyone deserves a chance at a new beginning. Won't you help make that happen for families in our area this season? Rome Rescue Mission, giving hope and loving the lost. Please donate now at romemission.org. That's romemission.org. Rome Rescue Mission, a hand up, not a handout.
Don't overpay for your next mattress. Mattress Express is upstate New York's largest specialty bedding retailer. Bring in any locally advertised price on a brand we carry. We will beat the price. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS or go to mattressexpressny.com.
Cloudy skies, 55 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 736. President Trump will give a primetime address tonight on the Iran war. The White House says the address is scheduled for 9 p.m. Eastern and will provide an important update on Iran. On Tuesday, Trump said he thought the war could end in 2 to 3 weeks. Trump has also reportedly been considering a deployment of U.S. troops in Iran. Meanwhile, Iran is threatening to strike U.S. companies located in the Middle East. On Tuesday, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard accused companies including Apple, Microsoft, and Tesla of contributing to attacks that have led to the deaths of Iranian citizens and said their operations in the Middle East should be considered legitimate targets. A federal judge ordering the University of Pennsylvania to provide a list of its Jewish employees to the Trump administration. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission says it's investigating alleged anti-Semitic harassment of Jewish people at UPenn. On Tuesday, the judge ruled in favor of that request. Lawyers for Charlie Kirk's accused killer are requesting more time to process the bullet that ended his life. The lawyers said in a recent filing that the ATF could not identify the bullet recovered during the autopsy and that the FBI is conducting a second bullet analysis that has not yet been completed. NASA says the weather forecast is 80% for tonight's Artemis 2 launch in Florida. Launch weather officer Mark Berger said at a briefing yesterday the conditions for the launch are favorable, but they're watching out for wind, rain, and puffy cumulus clouds that could create a lightning risk. And Megan Thee Stallion had to be taken to the hospital after leaving her Broadway performance in the middle of the show. The platinum-selling rapper has a starring role in Moulin Rouge, the musical, which began last week on Broadway. Her representative says during Tuesday night's production, Megan started feeling ill and was rushed to a local hospital where her symptoms are currently being evaluated. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 7:38. Here's your Weather Center forecast.
After 1 to 3 inches of rain yesterday, 2.33, for example, in Whitesboro, the flooding continues. Along the Mohawk, there's flooding and a flood warning in some areas until Friday afternoon. Good news is that the overcast is here, but the rain showers will be more widely scattered today. 52. Tonight, a passing shower at 2:38. Tomorrow, a few showers around, otherwise cloudy and breezy at a high of about 45. Chance of showers and thunderstorms on Friday, with a high of 73. I'm meteorologist Ray Stagic from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Bill, still dealing with cloudy skies, possibly some rain depending on your location. We are
Hurt in a car? Call William Attar. 315-444-4444.
Attention patriotic Americans. To honor the 250th anniversary of American independence, the United States Mint is striking a groundbreaking American Silver Eagle coin. The 1776 to 2026 W American Silver Eagle is the first dual-dated coin in this series' history. Its inspiring dual date pays tribute to our nation's founding fathers, the Declaration of Independence in 1776, and the spirit of the American Revolution that lives on today in 2026. Now is your chance to get this first-of-its-kind dual-dated American Silver Eagle in perfect proof 70 Ultra Cameo condition, like nothing collectors have ever seen. But hurry, pre-sale slots are limited. With mintage of just 500,000 coins, this release is a true absolute rarity. Secure your 250th anniversary Silver Eagle now with Rare Collectibles TV exclusive pre-sale. Call 800-925-1544 now before they sell out. That's 800-925-1544. 800-925-1544.
Okay, that's
I didn't switch to Pure Talk just because I wanted to save 50% off the same 5G service I'd been paying twice as much for. I switched because I like the idea of being in business with a wireless company that supports our veterans in a meaningful way. Pure Talk also creates American jobs every day by keeping their entire operation in this country. I appreciate that. If you feel the same, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Gotta love. This is what happens when I brush up against a touchscreen board. Things play that I don't expect to play. Time to do Hobica's free money question of the day. And Davey, how much money are we...
Don't rely on a standard off-the-shelf security system. When it comes to protecting your home, there's a big difference between plug and...
Okay, I just have to stop that. Okay, how much money are we looking at?
April Fool Day's on you.
Yeah, it's like going nuts here. How much money are we looking at to give away for Hobica's free money question of the day?
6,500 pesos.
6,500 pesos. If you get the question correct, you will win 6,500. This is no April Fools. 6,500 pesos. I'll let you do the math. 6,500 pesos. Back before NAFTA, we gave away 1,000,000 pesos, and it was like $100. That was years ago. But now it's a little different. 6,500 pesos on the line, and you're looking for caller number what?
Caller 5.
Caller 5 right now, and it's a doable question. 315-736-0186. Caller 5 right now at WIBX.
Don't rely on a standard off-the-shelf security system. When it comes to protecting your home, there's a big difference between plug and play and a professionally designed system. At CML Security, security is personal. Their skilled technicians meet with you one-on-one, walk your property, and design a custom system built around your family's needs. From security cameras, intrusion systems, and smart home features, they can also add a level of fire protection to their intrusion systems. They install commercial-grade equipment and provide a warranty on systems that they install. Call CML Security at 315-866-5845 today to schedule your in-home consultation. That's 315-866-5845 or visit cmlsecurity.net. Based in Herkimer, they serve the central New York area. CML Security. Call 315-866-5845. Personalized protection your family can trust.
Utica and the Mohawk Valley, do not overpay for your next mattress. Mattress Express is upstate New York's largest specialty bedding retailer. Take advantage of our guaranteed lowest price program. Bring in any locally advertised price or quote on a brand we carry. We will beat the price. Furthermore, if within 90 days of purchase you see that mattress advertised for less, bring it to our attention. We will refund the difference. Selection, no one in New York State has all these brands under one roof except Mattress Express. Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh & Lavish, Therapeutic, Simmons Beauty Rest Black, Serta, Eye Comfort, Avocado, and more. On New Hartford and Commercial Drive next to Pet Supplies Plus. In Oneida and the Glenwood Plaza by the movie theaters. And Rome on Black River Boulevard. Open 7 days a week. Go to mattressexpressny.com. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, it's time for Hobica's free money question of the day, and it's going to be Bob taking a shot in Whitesboro. And it comes from Joseph and Andrew Hobica, the Hobica Law Firm at 315-724-1600. And your chance here to win this morning, as Davey says, here on April 1st, 6,500 pesos. And I'll have to turn to Manaski on this. 6,500 pesos. I mean, before NAFTA, this was a deal and a half. We may have been giving away like 20 cents because I think 1,000,000 was like $150 before NAFTA. But today, the exchange rate is much better. But it's still rough. 6,500 pesos equals...
It's funny because it changes almost by the minute here. $363.88.
So we're going to agree on 363... What? 363. 88. All right. I think
I'm telling you, I looked.
Bob is good with this.
3 minutes ago, and it was 363.96.
it'll. And then you got to get a rate somewhere. I mean, you could have a rate, what you see online, and then you try to go and get an exchange rate, and it's completely different. Some banks will charge you to get I mean, it's a whole thing.
363.87.
All right, we're sticking with 363.88. Bob in Whitesboro, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How we doing?
All right, not bad, right? It's $363. That's a good free money question.
Correct.
All right, if you're ready, I am.
I'm ready.
Here we go with your question. Only in the history of Major League Baseball, only 2 teams have done this. In history, allowing 3 or fewer runs through their first 5 games of the season. This year, the Yankees have done it. What is the other team that did it? Ready, go.
Atlanta Braves.
Was it the Atlanta Braves that actually had this record? Yeah. Well, how much is 0 pesos?
I believe that equals $0.
Let
me check my calculator.
It was this is
$0.
This is in today's New York Post, by the way. 1943 St. Louis Cardinals allowed for their first 5 games 3 or fewer runs. The Yankees have tied that record this year. All right, listen, Bob, we're going to give you Glenwood Movieplex passes and Rome Cinema 8 passes as well. As a bit of a consolation, you stand by and Davey's going to hook you up.
Thank you.
All right, Bob, thanks. Davey, he is all yours. 363.88. It's a meaningless number now. Doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
In studio right now, and we're excited to have him in, is Mark Ford. Mark, good morning. Really tight on that, Mark, if you could. You literally have to be touching it. Mark is with Shipwright Printing in South Utica. You'll print anything. No, doesn't matter the size. You'll print it.
Absolutely.
All right. You, a while back, took on something that everybody said was crazy. You took on Val Bialis, and there was some nostalgia to it. You remember it as a kid, right?
Absolutely.
And you did not have the luxury of the weather that they've had the last 2 years.
Yeah, well, out of the 8 years that I...
It was 8 years you had it.
Yeah, from 2009 until 17.
Okay.
And we had 3 years of which we never even operated the chairlift.
Yeah, because of the weather.
Because of the weather.
Yeah.
So.
You saw what happened this year and what the mayor is trying to do with it and what the plans are, but there could be more plans. You have ideas on what could make this thing work.
Well, I'm glad to see that the city is finally getting to not only spend some money, but do some needed improvements up there, of course. And it looks like they have to do them incrementally. So, they took the first step this year, and I think it's good.
What can it become?
Well, first of all, it has to be looked at as a retail operation and not just a municipal operation. So it has to be run as a true business, pretty much the way Tim Woods runs Woods Valley, and other smaller ski areas.
In order to be able to justify it, right?
Right. You have to create a customer experience, and once you do that, you'll have them coming back for more.
Yeah.
And they have to realize their place in the world as far as ski areas go. It's a small center. So they're not going to get people that want to ski for 8 hours to go there.
Right.
So it's perfect for an older guy like me. I can ski for an hour, 2 hours, not feel bad about leaving.
Yeah, and you're right in town.
Absolutely.
Jeff, could you help tilt that mic up just a little bit there? These mics are so sensitive, and I have so little to work with. Yeah, that's better. Tilt it up even a little more, Jeff. Tilt it up. Yep, there you can. Perfect. Okay, much better. What else can you see? Can you envision them doing with Val Bialis?
Well, so the data that I had gathered over the time I had been running the center indicated that 90% of the patrons purchasing tickets were snowboarders. So we were not getting, mom, dad, and a little kid coming there to ski. And the reason was basically the overgrowth of the trees up there that happened over the many decades. In fact, you can see the effect of it by where the old T-bar towers are. They are in the woods. And, the woods have encroached on there. So there's no real good beginner slope for somebody to take a kid up to the top of the chairlift and then ski or snowboard down. Now, what was popular was the terrain park that we'd set up on the old T-bar hill. So eventually, after the removal of the T-bar, they moved the rope tow from the far east slope to where the T-bar was.
Yeah.
But the problem is it only goes 30 to 35% of the way up the hill. But that was where we concentrated our terrain park. We always had a 60-foot tabletop jump in the middle as the main feature. We had, rails and boxes, battleship boxes, et cetera.
Yeah.
And that's what the kids came for. So even when we were running the chairlift, the kids would go up and down the handle tow.
Mm-hmm.
And so that they could hit the tricks on the terrain park.
I think you have to. The key is you got to listen to your audience, listen to the patrons, and not kind of get locked into this is what it was, this is what we want it to be. We're going to make it this, and they're going to like it. You really kind of got to play to the crowd.
Absolutely. And the crowd was adolescent to young adult snowboarders.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And we had we created a Val Bialis Cup that we had every year. We had brought in snowmobile races.
Mm-hmm.
We also, I went down to Pennsylvania and bought a used lift and installed it for tubing. And tubing ended up being about 30% of our revenue for the year.
Wow. And you feel that they really need to get down that road, the tubing road.
Well, I mean, that's
snowboarding, tubing.
It's an option, but I would, they may be wanting to hold off until they get the regular slope operating.
Yeah.
And the big thing is they got to clear those trees, and they got to make it so that they can get off the chairlift at the top and ski easily down to the bottom with wide slopes,
right,
that are conducive to beginning skiers and snowboarders.
Yeah. You have a kid who's of age.
Yeah.
That's perfect for Val Bialis.
Yeah, absolutely. I know times change as far as how much it costs. Obviously, we see the national grid bills go up, but some have floated the idea that maybe this should be free. Do you think that's feasible? And
I think it's a foolish idea.
Yeah.
So
that's been the big controversy, making it free.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's foolish. There's no other place in the United States where it's free.
Right.
And what would it do? You got all those costs offset. And, the years that we had good snow, we made good money.
Yeah.
It paid for expenses and a little bit of profit. So, and it offset the loss from the year before where there's basically no snow.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, I think there was a projection that the city could get like $12,000, $14,000. And I don't know if that's a condensed season or for a full season, charging the rates that they had put out there. And essentially the idea was floated, well, if it's only $12,000, $14,000, why do we need anything then? Why don't we give it away for free? And it's like, well, I just don't think that's a good move for any municipality or city or really any. I know it's not a business, it's government, not a business, but if you took that approach,
right,
you would have $0 in every funding.
Even Ed Hanna's hot dogs cost $1. Right?
Right.
I mean,
right.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, anything else you can think that the city can do based on you're really a long time in there and a long time love for this?
Well, I'll give you an example. Like on Martin Luther King weekend, I think in 15. We did $12,000 in revenue just over the 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
So talking about revenue, it'll if the season is right and there's snow, they can cover all their expenses there. Now, keeping in mind that we also had inside the ski chalet, we had a complete snack bar, and we had rentals.
Yeah.
And that's something they have to turn to if they really want to take this serious.
Very much like the way we operate the Valley View.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you got to operate it as a business in order to make it and to make it work. Valley View, a municipal golf course in the city, in a city the size of Utica. Very unique. Having a ski slope in a city like Utica is extremely unique.
Yeah, it's a 1-2 punch all year
Yeah.
round. And now the Valley View is being run a lot better than it was 10 years ago. They're selling a lot more golf outings.
Yeah.
And they're doing really well under Mike.
And what do you think in terms of summertime? Is there a revenue stream there in the summer?
Well, there are centers that do biking, and the lifts have been modified to handle biking.
Yeah.
And they're knocking that idea around now, and I think it's intriguing.
Yeah.
If they can, because they got a really good course through the woods coming down, and they should take advantage of it.
Yeah. I'm assuming you love seeing money being pumped into it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now they got the snowmaking that they're going to install. They didn't quite get it installed this winter, but they did. Looks like they rented a couple of portable M18 snowmaking guns.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is what I used when I ran the center. We did have snowmaking.
Yeah.
But we can only go about 20 to 30% of the way up the hill with it.
Okay.
So, we were lucky that it did cover the terrain park, and we were able to cover the tubing area. Couldn't go much further up the hill from that.
And with the way the weather is, like I have to say, like in Colorado, they got hammered this year because it was so warm in Colorado. Yeah. So we can't depend on the weather the way we could years ago.
Yeah.
But it does seem like we're on a new trend where we're getting hit pretty good.
Yeah, the weather cycle is turned around to the better.
Yeah.
And I say to the better for obviously for skiing and snow operations.
Right,
so.
right. All right. So, have you talked to the mayor? Have you offered advice to the mayor?
I've talked to the mayor. I've also talked with Nick Breidenbecker and Gene Santacroce, the engineers.
Yeah.
And they have some good ideas, and looks like there's good times coming for the Val Bialis.
The key would be then to put somebody in charge that would operate this like they're operating a business.
Yeah, the main thing is you can't have just city employees running the place. You got to hire a manager experience with retail.
And skating, of course, is a good addition too, I think.
That's a beautiful skating.
It is. Mark Ford, thank you. I appreciate it. And,
you're welcome.
Your investment back then was a big deal, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
WIBX Utica Road, W295
From the WB Paid Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
Well, before we get there, I'll tell you the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic, and right now they're accepting new patients as they've added some new physicians. That includes Dr. Cheryl Mattern, who is from here and has made her way back to the Falcon Clinic. So today, if you're in need of a new family doctor, just make the phone call. 315-507-4751 for the Falcon Clinic. Dr. Zielinski, Dr. Chmielewski. There's also the OMT, Osteopathic Manipulation Treatment, that you could take advantage of. It's kind of a tune-up, if you will, for your body to make sure everything is flowing the way it should flow. Keeping you healthy. Call today. Again, if you're in need of a new family physician, they're accepting new patients. The Falcon Clinic is in Washington Mills. Call 315-507-4751. It's 8 o'clock.
Finishing the job. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. President Trump plans to address the nation tonight at 9 Eastern with an update on the military operation in Iran. He tells reporters he thinks it'll be done within 2 to 3 weeks. Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House.
Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, went on Hannity last night and gave us some pretty good clues. He said that the U.S. is very close to achieving the objectives that the president set out at the start of this war. That includes destroying Iran's air force, its navy, its missile launchers, and its defense industrial base that builds its weapons. And he said that that has moved ahead of schedule and the finish line is in sight. But importantly, he also revealed that Iran in these negotiations is refusing to hand over its stockpile of enriched uranium.
This morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, President Trump plans to be the first sitting president to attend oral arguments at the Supreme Court.
The case involves whether the Trump administration can restrict birthright citizenship. The 9 justices will hear arguments about an executive order the president signed on his first day back in office, seeking to deny federal benefits such as passports to children born in the U.S. to illegal immigrants. The order was blocked by several judges who ruled that the 14th Amendment guarantees citizenship to almost everyone born in the U.S. Now it heads to the High Court.
Fox's Mike Emanuel in D.C. Iraqi government security forces are looking for a kidnapped American journalist.
Freelance journalist Shelley Kittleson was abducted on Tuesday evening in Iraq's capital, Baghdad. Security forces gave chase with one of the kidnappers' cars overturning, leading to the arrest of a suspect. A State Department official says the detainee was someone with ties to an Iran-aligned militia. It's understood Kittleson had been warned by the U.S. government of threats against her, including as late as Monday night.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. War Secretary Pete Hegseth lifts the Army's suspension for helicopter pilots who hovered near rapper Kid Rock's house in Tennessee while he saluted and waved. America's listening to Fox News.
Here it comes. Surprise! There's an avocado shortage! Now half your food truck menu is costing more than it's making you! Also, you're out of napkins!
Those aren't cheap! Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise? Saving 13% on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, an ice cream truck stole your parking spot! Looks like you're in a turf war!
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
Man accused of murdering a healthcare CEO in New York City is back in federal court today.
Luigi Mangione will be seated with his lawyers at a status conference. The discussion will likely center around the scheduling of his trials. At the moment, the federal trial is set to begin September 8th. Mangione's defense has requested that trial on 2 stalking charges be pushed back to January 2027. If that delay is granted, it could open the door for a delay for Mangione's state trial, in which he faces a murder charge as well as weapons possession. The New York trial is set to begin this June, 3 months before the federal case. It's unclear if a decision will be made today. In New York, Gernal Scott, Fox News.
A tugboat captain from Miami is charged with manslaughter for the death of 3 girls from a sailing camp last July. Federal prosecutors say Yusil Lopez Insuna did not have a clear view or a lookout as he pushed a barge full of construction debris that hit a sailboat. The girls who died were 7, 10, and 13. A counselor and 2 other girls dragged under the barge escaped. The IRS says more than 4 million children have been signed up for the Trump Accounts saving program.
The Treasury Department will deposit an initial $1,000 into the fund for each child enrolled. Plus, the child's parents, family, and friends can contribute up to $5,000 a year till the child reaches the age of 18. The program funded by the Big Beautiful Bill and donations by philanthropists. The Treasury estimates that if fully funded, each child's account could reach as much as $1.9 million in value by the age of 28. Sue Guzman, Fox News.
There's a severe weather threat today for more than 52 million people in the forecast across parts of the Plains, Midwest, Ohio Valley, and the Mid-Atlantic. Several days of storms expected to last through the weekend could lead to flash flooding. Ahead of the opening bell on Wall Street, stocks higher. Dow futures up 374. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News.
Cloudy skies, 50 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. Body camera footage and asked the judge to define one of the several charges he is facing. It's alleged that Levy was involved in the 2025 beating death of inmate Messiah Nantwi. If convicted of murder, he faces 25 years to life in prison. Lawmakers and Governor Kathy Hochul in Albany missing the budget deadline. This is the 5th time since the governor took office that the budget has not been approved by April 1st. Both the state Senate and Assembly passed budget extenders yesterday that will keep New York running and ensure state workers can get their paychecks. A spokesperson for the governor says she's committed to passing a budget that delivers relief for New Yorkers, and she will continue to negotiate in good faith. Utica police were alerted to a report of an alleged inappropriate encounter at a local medical provider's office. The victim stated that during the exam, it was invasive and unnecessary, and that the victim felt so uncomfortable they ended the appointment and immediately left the office. This incident occurred in mid-March. This week, investigators with the Utica Police Department's Criminal Investigation Division located Victor Petrovitz, age 57, of Utica, at his office on Trenton Ave. He was taken into custody on an allegation of forcible touching. 2 convenience stores in Rome still closed after being accused of stealing illegal cannabis products. Authorities say they seized cannabis flower and concentrates, as well as 2,900 nicotine-flavored vapes from Brooklyn Exotics. They also discovered illegal cannabis and vapes at Prince Convenience. Those businesses will not be allowed to reopen until there is a hearing by the State Office of Cannabis Management. Well, today is National Walking Day, and to celebrate the day, officials with the Boilermaker say you can register today for the Boilermaker Walk. It's presented by Slocum Dixon Medical Group. The walk will take place at MVCC's Utica campus on Saturday, July 11th at 11 a.m. If you want to sign up, you can do so at Boilermaker.com. And State Senator Joe Griffo is partnering with the Oneida Herkimer Solid Waste Authority, Confidata, and the state DEC once again to hold an electronics recycling event. It's scheduled for Saturday, April 18th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Oneida Herkimer Recycling Center on Sewage Plant Road. The public can drop off electronics like TVs, computers, and other devices. A complete list of acceptable items can be found at ohswa.org. Right now, cloudy skies and 50 degrees. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 8:08.
After 1 to 3 inches of rain yesterday, 2.33, for example, in Whitesboro. The flooding continues. Along the Mohawk, there's flooding and a flood warning in some areas until Friday afternoon. Good news is that the overcast is here, but the rain showers will be more widely scattered today. 52. Tonight, a passing shower at 2:38. Tomorrow, a few showers around, otherwise cloudy and breezy at a high of about 45. Chance of showers and thunderstorms on Friday, with a high of 73. I'm meteorologist Ray Stagic from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Cloudy, 50 at 8:09. All right, in sports, the NFL wrapping up its annual league meeting in Phoenix. Replay rule changes were approved. One, to help potential replacement referees make the right penalty calls, and another which allows officials to retroactively disqualify a player if a flagrant act is missed by an official. Plenty of teams also making headlines. The Patriots coach Mike Vrabel says he's not ruling out a trade for Eagles star wide receiver A.J. Brown. ESPN says Odell Beckham Jr. has met with the Giants about a possible reunion with the team that drafted him and his former coach Harbaugh when he was with the Baltimore Ravens. And the Dolphins sold off a non-controlling 1% ownership stake in its team at a record $12.5 billion to a Chinese company. More of NFL news. The Jaguars have a temporary home for 2027. The team will play its home games at the Camping World Stadium in Orlando. The 65,000-seat venue hosted 6 Pro Bowl games, including one in 2025. Jacksonville's Everbank Stadium is slated to finish almost $1.5 billion in renovations after next season. NBA action last night. The Knicks lose to the Rockets 111-94. It's the third straight loss for the Knicks. The Nets were blown out by the Hornets 117-86. Brooklyn has lost 11 of their last 12 games. MLB action. The Yankees shut out the Mariners 5-0. Max Fried picked up the victory. 6 strikeouts over 7 scoreless innings. The rubber match in that series coming up this afternoon. And the Mets were shut out by the Cardinals 3-0 in St. Louis. Kodai Senga tagged with the loss. He allowed 2 runs on 4 hits and 3 walks. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 8:11.
Don't rely on a standard off-the-shelf security system. When it comes to protecting your home, there's a big difference between plug and play and a professionally designed system. At CML Security, security is personal. Their skilled technicians meet with you one-on-one, walk your property, and design a custom system built around your family's needs. From security cameras, intrusion systems, and smart home features, they can also add a level of fire protection to their intrusion systems. They install commercial-grade equipment and provide a warranty on systems that they install. Call CML Security at 315-866-5845 today to schedule your in-home consultation. That's 315-866-5845 or visit cmlsecurity.net. Based in Herkimer, they serve the central New York area. CML Security. Call 315-866-5845. Personalized protection your family can trust.
Saturday, April 11th. Step into a world of luxury, elegance, and enchanting beauty. Join us and be spellbound. An unforgettable evening begins with a cocktail reception, followed by a world-class dinner, interactive performers, and lavish fun and adventure. April 11th at Vernon Downs Casino Hotel. Dress to impress and experience a night like no other. All to support the Neighborhood Center's essential services for individuals and families in our community. Enjoy an indulgent dinner, breathtaking performances, 4-hour open bar, and live music by Uptown Groove to dance the night away. Tickets are limited, so get yours now. Saturday, April 11th at Vernon Downs Casino Hotel. For tickets, visit neighborhoodctr.org.
Utica and the Mohawk Valley, do not overpay for your next mattress. Mattress Express is upstate New York's largest specialty bedding retailer. Take advantage of our guaranteed lowest price program. Bring in any locally advertised price or quote on a brand we carry. We will beat the price. Furthermore, if within 90 days of purchase you see that mattress advertised for less, bring it to our attention. We will refund the difference. Selection, no one in New York State has all these brands under one roof except Mattress Express. Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh & Lavish, Therapeutic, Simmons Beauty Rest Black, Serta, iComfort, Avocado, and more. On New Hartford and Commercial Drive next to Pet Supplies Plus. In Oneida and the Glenwood Plaza by the movie theaters. And Rome on Black River Boulevard. Open 7 days a week. Go to mattressexpressny.com. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Start your mornings with sharp insight and straight talk from me, Brian Kilmeade. Weekdays right after Keeler in the morning, don't miss the Brian Kilmeade Show, breaking down the biggest stories in politics, business, and culture with the voices shaping the headlines. From Washington power players to everyday Americans, we ask the questions you want answered. Miss it during the week? Catch the weekend edition Saturday morning at 7. The Brian Kilmeade Show right after Keeler on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, good morning. It is, I think back on some of the April Fools stuff that we've done over the years. And the greatest, of course, was the time that we sent out the press release that Ed Hanna had resigned. That was... And it was covered all over the state. Everybody covered it. Except for the OD. The OD didn't cover it for some reason. They weren't sure. But everybody else ran with it. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's good feather in your cap there.
It is. And you know who actually...
The OD didn't fall for it?
The OD was the only one that didn't fall for it. It was in Buffalo. It was Syracuse. Everybody was covering statewide. Everybody here locally covered it.
Did they have a story that said There are multiple outlets reporting this, but we have not confirmed it. We cannot contact the man.
I don't know, but
they would have had to have some kind of a story.
I spent the whole morning checking boxes. Yep, guess who just ran it? They ran it. And the only one that didn't was the OD because they were suspicious. And they actually made a phone call because Hannah was in Florida at the time.
Yeah, it was something about he was out of town, right?
Yeah. And it was, and you know who actually wrote the press release? I mean, I wrote it and then gave it to my wife, who then was my producer at the time, and she typed it up, and we copied the city's letterhead and then just faxed it out to everybody.
That's pretty
good. Even changed the fax machine. So actually, Ann said one of her greatest inventions, today is the 50-year birthday of Apple.
Yeah.
And one of her inventions that occurred to change the world for her was the fax machine. She thought that was a huge deal. But in the fax machine, you would program your number. It wasn't automatic. Like now, you plug something in, it'll read your telephone number, and automatically it'll show your caller ID. Back then, you had to type it in. So what would you type in? Utica City Hall, and then the number. So when they got it, it came from City Hall. It was awesome. But, everybody's all about my wife being Miss, Goody Two-Shoes. Don't even get me started.
Oh, yeah.
She's the one that wrote it. Before we go to comments, Beth, this weekend,
yes,
the public market is
We're
rolling.
on
And
this weekend.
You're doing Easter dinner. This is a perfect place
Yep,
to
come
go.
on down, talk to our meat vendors. Excuse me. Get your Easter ham, or a nice roast, or a roast chicken, whatever your family's into. I will be there for you, and we also have. It's not. Don't come down looking necessarily for the fresh tomatoes to put on the salad.
Yeah,
we can give you the greens, and maybe a cucumber or an onion.
Because some of that stuff's being hydroponically grown.
Some of it's hydroponically
Right.
grown, and some of it stores well over the winter. So we still have those. The potatoes for mashed potatoes. If you wanna bump up the nutrition, grab some parsnips and boil those and mash those in with your potatoes. And April is National Gardening Month.
Okay.
Everybody's thinking about it. Some people are germinating things inside. And we are having the plant stand with us. It's a local business that does pop-ups. They are going to be with us with their setup to, if you want to get a new plant to add to your collection and not tell your husband about. They'll help you do that. But they're also doing a repotting activity. So if you have something that you've had for years,
what plant would you get and not tell your husband about?
I
pot plant or something?
I don't keep secrets like that.
Okay, right. You wouldn't do that.
I'd be like, look what I got, honey.
Yeah. Another plant? You got another plant? Yeah, I see where you're going.
Well, the corner of our dining area and the front window of our living room was kind of like a miniature rainforest in the wintertime.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think it makes you
but
feel like
it is nice to see like the full sun come in the summertime when everything goes on the back porch.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also doing a repotting activity where if you have a plant that you have at home that you love because it was your mom's or your kids gave it to you for Mother's Day and it's pot bound or it's just not doing as well as it used to, bring it on down. They will help you take a look at it, repot it, and revitalize it for you.
All right.
And we also have Melissa Clark for music.
Okay. And that's inside the train station.
We're still inside the train station.
Okay.
We have one winter market after this weekend in 2 weeks.
And then you open up full swing every weekend.
Then we take about a 4-week break, and then we're back outside in the summertime behind the REA wing.
Okay. I'm going to ask you comments here.
A couple comments on YouTube. Nothing from Lance this morning, surprisingly. He must be under the weather. Nick says, regarding the Artemis 2, fly me to the moon, and I'll spare you the rest.
I do love that song.
Nick says, that's coffee, Susan. The Ed Hanna prank, Jawick remembers. Let's see. He says, I love plants.
It was just the greatest thing to be able to then send out the second press release that was...
Got him.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
And then one more here. This is not a comment. This is a story I found online this morning via the New York Post. Australians resort to cooking their own petrol as fuel prices surge past $3. That's $3 a liter.
So they're using like oil that they would use to cook French fries, and they're converting their vehicles.
I don't know. This guy, apparently he got Bruce Dunn, was on Big Brother. I really hoped it wouldn't come to this, and I'll spare you the Australian accent, but we are cooking up our own diesel because politely $3.15 for a liter of dino juice is daylight robbery, and I'm not paying for it. So he put a video out, and he kind of walks you through his process. He says, if you see me ripping down the main strip smelling like a fish and chip shop, just mind your own, yay. What in the Mad Max, one user wrote, tutorial ASAP, please. Everyone will be converting their engines to run on canola oil soon enough.
The problem is that oil is oftentimes, there was just somebody arrested, I think, recently for allegedly trying to steal oil from a restaurant.
Yeah, it was Sunday over to Fresco.
Yes, over
the new place on where Dippin' Donuts was.
Fresco Fish?
Yeah, over the weekend.
There must be a recycling bonus that you get that you make money off that.
Well, restaurants have always been able to recycle the cooking oil. Like if you have a restaurant that deep fries stuff, French fries or fish sticks or something,
they can recycle.
They can. There's a the
was
service will actually
up.
give you a canister or a container for it that sits usually out back somewhere.
Yeah.
And they'll just come and dump it like another service would dump your dumpster.
I have the press release right here. Waste oil is commonly sold by local businesses as licensed recyclers as part of environmental response practice. Unauthorized removal of such materials
is thievery
and criminal possession.
Yeah, you'd be arrested.
Yeah, it happened
Somebody
on Friday
was arrested.
night.
Yeah,
2 people.
All right. Anything else, Jeff?
No. That's just a bizarre story.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm telling you, if that really takes off, McDonald's French fries are going to get really expensive.
Right. Let's think about that. Then all of a sudden, the expense,
the intended use of the oil,
the vegetable oil would start costing a lot of money because everybody's all over it.
You don't solve the problem; just move it around.
Shayna, is that how I pronounce your name, Shayna?
That's correct.
Good morning. Really tight on that. You literally have to touch it.
Alrighty.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Everybody, clear their throats so I don't feel alone. Thank you. Shayna Dolan.
Correct.
Davey, that includes you.
Is with Davey. Thank you. Shayna Dolan is with Legal Services of Central New York, and you started a new grassroots union, which is called Unite, or Utica Neighbors Igniting Tenant Empowerment.
Yes, it's a mouthful, but we like the acronym.
Which is like Unite.
Yes,
is easy.
Shorten it.
All right, so tell us what you're doing here. What is this? And you spoke before the Common Council recently.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I am a community organizer, and for the last few years, I've been working primarily on tenant organizing in some of the local buildings. And, we had certain successes, but really we were kind of hitting a wall in terms of success, and figured creating a more citywide tenant union would be more effective to bring in all sorts of folks, not just in an individual building or even a group of buildings owned by the same person, but that way we can incorporate folks who are in like subsidized housing and public housing and just private units as well. So.
And what is the goal? So the goal is for better conditions, lower rates.
So we're only about a month old, so it's still very new and trying to formulate kind of a platform. But tenant unions exist everywhere, especially in major cities where there are higher renter populations like Utica. Well, we don't have one until now, but most of the upstate cities also have them. But you can organize potentially for rent strikes. You can do education trainings to know your rights, and be more familiar with the legal process. You can push and advocate for legislative policy, both locally, state, and federally. So there's a number of things that you can do.
Do you think that, by the way, this is your business, or is this your community service?
So, it overlaps because my job is an organizer, right? And our office does a lot of housing work. So there's a lot of overlap.
When you say organizer, are you organizing? Were you a part of the Kings, No Kings protest this weekend? Was that?
I was, but that's separate an individual.
This is not the same thing.
Right.
Okay.
But I happen to be a tenant, so
I see.
it is part of my life too. So.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to wrap my head around this, because I once was I was once a tenant, right? That's how we all started out, right?
Yeah.
Tenants. If your parents even charged you might have been a tenant at home.
So
I was always upset about that. I mean, you're charging me what? Rent?
Funny.
Well, listen, you're 36 years old. It's time to get out of the house.
Right.
It wasn't quite that bad. But what do you see as the problem? You're a tenant.
Yes.
And why do you feel you need a union? What are the issues that you have that would make somebody say, I think we got to form a union?
I mean, fortunately, my own personal living situation is
You're
okay
pretty
right
good.
now.
Yeah.
But again, from the folks I talk to in the community, the clients that we see come into our office, and just generally living in 2026, right? We come across a number of issues in varying degrees. Probably number one is the unsafe living conditions that some of these properties have. Famously, Utica has very high lead poisoning rates because of the old housing stock and not putting in the repairs needed to either remove and remediate the lead paint.
Yeah. That's a huge problem.
And that damages forever.
Children. Tell me if you could, do you find that your local landlord versus your out-of-town landlord, those are two very different situations? That your local landlord, and you're saying no. I would say that the local landlords are here a little more accessible, and usually you'll have more success in having repairs done than if the person is out of Queens.
And I guess it depends out of town, because there's folks that actually live in the city. There's folks that live like an hour away in Syracuse. There's folks downstate in the city or out of state too.
Yeah.
So we see a range of different situations. Obviously, folks who live in the community and are here are, as you said, more accessible, or ideally are more accessible, and hopefully take more pride in their reputation.
Oftentimes they may be living in the same apartment, possibly, or maybe not.
Yeah.
Do you have something?
Well, I just was going to ask, you had mentioned earlier when Bill was asking, is this like an organization is this like a community service, or is this business for you? And you said it kind of overlapped. So who pays you to be an organizer and to kind of set up this group?
Yeah, so my employer is Legal Services of Central New York. And fortunately, we have the funding where I'm able to do the community work where, not everybody's able to do that.
And legal services is somebody needs lower income, can't afford an attorney. They can go to your service and get help.
Sure, but we don't just provide legal help, right?
Okay.
Again, the organizing work is kind of the more upstream kind of work to give folks the knowledge and power to hopefully prevent some of the issues that bring them to our office.
Well, give me an example of, I'm sorry we're so inquisitive about this, but
no problem.
I'm a
Happy
little
to
bit,
talk.
just a little confused. I want to have a good understanding of what you do. And so give me some examples of some things that you've organized.
Right. So for the last few years, I've been particularly working with tenants in different millennia properties. I don't know if you're familiar with them. So there's a few in the city of Utica, including Genesee Tower, Margaret Nam, Lillian Cooper, and then there's Village Point in New Hartford, and Mary Buck in Whitesboro. And so they're all owned by the same company, which is an out-of-state landlord. And, these are and there's Brandegee Garden, too.
Okay.
And these are primarily housing buildings for folks with disabilities and seniors. They are project-based Section 8, but we've seen the conditions really deteriorate over the years, and tenants continue to pay rent, and there's no repairs, famously.
Well, you
a couple
would think
of the
that
buildings have had no working elevators for months.
You would think that which is a fire hazard, which Well, maybe not fire, but certainly a hazard for someone who is handicapped or whatever.
100%.
So, and in violation, I would assume, of the law in New York, we have many, many laws.
Well, federal ADA laws, I would think, would come into
as well.
play.
So, I think people would be shocked, because we've seen a little bit of it with people that are regulars here on the program. We have a group of regulars that are oftentimes living in terrible conditions, and if you've ever been inside, which it sounds like you have, when I say terrible, I don't think you would understand what I mean by terrible. You would.
Yeah,
I mean, it is dangerously filthy, and some of it is about, it could be mental illness or a struggle a person is going through, that they are unable to put two and two together to be able to clean the house and need some assistance. But others are, broken windows, water that doesn't work, heat that doesn't work properly, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So I've seen the conditions firsthand in some of these public, well, not public, but subsidized buildings. But honestly, some of the worst conditions that we've heard about are in these privately owned apartments and homes.
Well, a good example would have been the Obelston.
Yes.
But now it's completely been redone, and there's a management company working there, and I hope that it's, because we toured it when it was finished, and it was beautiful. But if you toured it beforehand, it was horrific.
Right.
Yeah. So that's basically what you do.
Yeah, in a nutshell.
And for a union, the purposes of having this union would be for tenants to join the union?
Yeah, so again, some people are more familiar with maybe labor unions, right? So, for improving workplace conditions, I myself am also in a labor union. But the whole point is, when people have individual issues, it's very easy to write them off when they have an issue. But when it's something, say, building-wide, neighborhood-wide, city-wide, it's harder to write off a whole constituency, right?
Yeah.
Almost half of Utica rents. So that's a huge block, no matter if you're renters or if you were all teachers or whatever,
Right. Do you, I want to ask, in New York, there was a thing they were trying to do for a while under Mondani, where there would be a freeze on how much a landlord can charge for rent. That's not something that I support. I feel like the market would determine. If you're accepting government funds, that's a completely different situation. But where do you stand on that issue? It's relatively inexpensive to live in Utica.
Obviously, I think we all agree that New York City has the highest prices in the state, let alone, probably most of the country. Yeah. I would agree it is more affordable to live up here in Utica and central New York. However, we've seen rent rates soar over the last handful of years, for example, and I think most people understand too that there's a shortage of available housing.
Big shortage.
And people throw out the word affordable housing, but that's still not a really good describer.
That's such a relative term.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Affordable for who?
Right,
Exactly.
and the old adage is pay 30% of your rent or your income for rent, but now most people are paying close to 50, which is quite a bit. And for me, example, like none of my utilities are included, so tack on a few extra $100, especially with utility rates right now.
Right now. Yeah.
So you're looking at much higher rents. For not necessarily.
All right.
More.
So we got a little idea of what you're trying to certainly accomplish. And I was driving by a place the other day, and it's an old business, and the sign is still up, and I'm watching people walk in. I'm like, for God's sakes, there are people living, and the place is falling down. The sign is half down. I don't want to say where it is or what the business was, but it's an old business that's probably been closed for 20 years. They didn't even, the landlord didn't even take the freaking sign down of the old business. It's still like dangling in the front of the front of the building, and I'm watching people come in and out. I'm like, they're living in there. How could you live in there? I can only imagine what those living conditions must be like. This could possibly help in that regard.
Potentially. I mean, the point is to keep folks home or in homes, right? So there are folks who are unhoused. You know, Utica has seen a growing number of unhoused folks, and you know, when we see high rent rates and not, you know, any adjustment to wages and salaries, right? Folks have a harder time affording to stay in their homes.
Yeah.
You know, the buying market, right, to become homeowners is also extremely difficult right now. So, you know, most of us are only a paycheck away from being homeless ourselves. Yeah. It's the first of the month too, so I feel like that's very timely
you're in a radio studio. We make a lot of money, so we're really wealthy. We can't really identify, but I understand. You know, I was once there.
Yeah. Careful, the lightning's going to strike any second now.
Please tip your hosts on the way out.
Yeah.
Okay, so I use as an example the Kelberman Center, which is mixed housing. And I think it's
a link there.
Sunset Link.
What's that?
The apartments.
Yeah, the link. Yeah.
Yes, the Kelberman. Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. That I just call it the Kelberman. Technically, we call it Stefan's house.
Right.
One of our guys, Stefan, and so, but he's living among people who some have issues, some don't have issues, so it's mixed, and I think that's kind of like the inclusion that's been attempted in education today. So years ago, everybody was separated and divided. Today, everybody goes to school together, and I think that's a positive. And I think this is a really good example of how to do it. I think it's a great model. So, for instance, Stefan, I don't think he would mind us talking. He's talked about this on the air. He has a cleaner come once a week to make sure that but the cleaner doesn't clean. The cleaner works along with him to clean. He also cleans. He is a part of the cleaning process. But there's someone there to make sure things don't get out of hand. Now, I've seen in contrast, a place on South Street where another one of our people lived, and it was just cockroaches, rats, disgusting garbage everywhere. And a lot of it is the tenant's fault. Certainly is the landlord's fault, but it's also the tenant's fault. But this is not a tenant who can accomplish what we would want them to accomplish. They need what Stefan has.
Yes.
And which is why I think that Sunset complex is a great example for what can be.
Yeah, I totally agree. I am a big advocate of mixed income housing, supportive housing. You don't see a lot of it up here yet, but like social housing or like co-ops, you know, other places have that, which, you know, it's great for especially intergenerational folks that can help each other do different, you know, tasks or whatever. And with co-ops, you have ownership over the unit, right? So you have equity if you decide to become a homeowner eventually. And then going back to the cleanliness issue, obviously, you know, that can be an issue. We do see instances of hoarding, but technically hoarding is considered.
Well, hoarding could be somebody could be making a lot of money and be a hoarder.
True, but it's a, you know,
it's a condition.
It's a condition, and there are, you know, you can get a reasonable accommodation for that, and you know, but there's a lot of course, shame and stigma attached to that, so people don't really want to ask for help until it's
extreme.
Well, it's, you can see that on TV. There's a show.
Yeah, there's a whole show on TLC, I believe.
I was going to ask, when we were talking about keeping units down and sometimes prices going up, I think you said it was, you know, some people are paying 50% of their monthly income for rent. Is there an average for a place like Utica, or do you have this in I see you're in a 13 county area. Is there, like, I don't know if you go by per square foot, but, you know, the rate in Utica on average per square foot for a rental unit is X. Do you guys have any stats like that, or a projection or a goal that you're trying to hit?
Not necessarily. I don't have that data off the top of my head, but I mean, you know, you see studios or 1-bedrooms for over $1,000, and for some people that seems reasonable, but again, when there's very little included with that, and even some folks don't even have like a year lease, a written lease. So we of course encourage folks to make sure they have that, because it's a contract, right? It works both ways. It helps protect the tenant, but it also helps protect the landlord too.
All right.
And I think I just want to make one quick comment. I think it's important for everybody to remember, I give you a lot of credit for doing this union. It's a link in the chain towards a solution for a lot of people. But you mentioned something interesting a few minutes ago, that you try to address something upstream.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I'm interpreting it, and I might be wrong, but that this grassroots union, the Unite, is a proactive activity. So you don't have to see as many people in the reactive part of what you do, which is the legal services of CNY. Where the people walk in the door already having the problem or having the issue that they don't know how to work themselves through. Whereas the Unite can kind of help them address things at the front of the process and either minimize them or eliminate the development of something like that. So I give you a lot of credit, and people just have to remember that there isn't any one office, one person, one phone call, one letter, one decision that's going to solve the problem. Yeah. It's always a process.
Yeah. As you mentioned, we have a very large service area, and we do have offices throughout our service area, but, in our Utica office, we serve primarily Herkimer and Oneida County, but we only have a handful of attorneys to cover all of that, and it's a huge ground to cover.
Yeah.
So,
and I do have Mike saying if as long as you're an organizer, he would like you to start a union against utility companies. See if we can lower those rates. Get right on that.
I don't know about a union, but there are already existing campaigns about bringing, utility costs down, and, I'm happy to connect and point them in the right direction.
Definitely a problem right now for a lot of people.
Yes.
So, okay, good stuff. I think you're doing some really good things.
Thank you so much.
All
Keep it up.
We appreciate it. And it's Shayna Dallin.
Shayna Dallin.
Yes. I got it right the first time. I should have just left it alone. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And good luck. How do people reach out if they want to help or need help?
Sure. So in terms of Unite, we're having our next meeting on April 14th, so it's only a couple weeks away, at the Utica Public Library on the second floor in the gallery. It's that big room up there.
All right.
At 5:30, we start with what's called an eat and greet, where there's food. You can kind of socialize, stagger in, and then the meeting starts at 6. And then we do have some socials now. On Instagram, you can find at Unite Utica, and on Facebook, there's a page. It's a black and yellow logo, so if that helps, you can type in Unite or Utica Neighbors Igniting Tenant Empowerment.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice job. I want to tell you, Steve Ponte Mazda, creating the ultimate customer experience, continues to be their number one goal, and that is Rick's goal. They only select the best late model Mazdas to become Mazda certified pre-owned vehicles, offering you an award-winning Mazda at a tremendous value with 160 points of inspection, the balance of a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. And as Rick says, if you need a lower price or payment, let's make your deal on a Mazda certified pre-owned vehicle. It's always easy to do business. Steve Ponte Mazda, family-owned and operated. Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. You're good to go. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me bring in Ryan Nobles from NBC. Ryan, good morning.
Hi, Bill. Good morning. How are you?
Another day. It's another day, Ryan. Just another day. All right. What are you, there's so much. What are you working on?
Well, today I'm actually going to be at the White House for a couple hours. The Congress is not session, and so I'm helping out our White House team. The president is set to deliver a primetime address today at 9 o'clock, where the thought is that he's going to declare some version of victory with the war in Iran, and at least hint at the beginning of the de-escalation of the conflict there, and say that the war should be coming to an end in the very near future. What isn't clear is how he's going to outline what constitutes victory, if there's been some sort of a deal that's been negotiated with Iran, what's going to happen to all the oil, how the Strait of Hormuz is going to be handled. There's still going to be a ton of unanswered questions, but the president is at least in some form or fashion going to try and assure the American people tonight that this thing is coming to an end and is not going to drag on forever. Whether or not he'll be able to make that convincing argument, given the realities on the ground, I think is the one big open question that many people are going to have.
How is it? How are we any different than the? It was like a couple of weeks ago. The president said we're almost done. This is almost over. We're looking at maybe another 2 weeks. We've kind of heard this before. And oh, by the way, every time that happens, it seems like the stock market gets a really nice bump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you might even make the argument, Bill, that the situation is worse than it was 3 weeks ago when he said that they'd won, that they'd decimated everything, that everything was all over. I mean, the situation with the Strait of Hormuz is a live ball. This is something where I think they're maybe between 5 and 20 tankers are making it through there a day, and they're the only ones that have been preordained by whoever's running Iran right now. You have an increase in drone and missile attacks on all these different Gulf states that are kind of tacitly approving this invasion for now. You've got American air bases in all these different regions that are still at risk, and you still have a situation where the president and the administration refuses to take off the table the option of ground troops. And, at one point the president said that he'd like to seize all of Iran's oil and take control of Iran's oil. Well, you don't do that without ground troops being involved. And I think the other biggest open question here that the administration's not been able to answer with any sort of definitive explanation is who exactly are they negotiating with? Who's in charge in Iran? Who has the authority to say yes or no to whatever deal it is that Donald Trump wants to hatch? On one side, they say that they've killed all of their leadership structure there, that they killed the supreme leader, that they severely incapacitated whomever was elected as the next supreme leader. Are they talking to the parliamentary leadership there, which really is just a figurehead, or it's not a figurehead, but is more just an extension of the supreme leader and the religious ruling families there? It's hard to explain how you can cut a deal with someone when you don't know who is in charge. And I think that it makes the end of this thing so difficult, because if you don't know who it is that you're making a deal with, then how can you say that the deal is actually something that's coming to reality? And
I think I talked about this earlier. It's that, what is victory? And maybe we'll learn that tonight, but you would assume that victory would have to include no more drone bombs, no more missiles launched on neighboring countries and Israel, and no threat. The key is no threat with the Strait of Hormuz, because it's that threat that preempts these oil companies from saying, or these insurance companies from insuring these tankers to have the confidence that they can go through without something happening. That's a lot, because that puts us back to where we were before, for the most part, before all of this.
And you could argue not only are we where we were before, but with a less stabilized region, right? And a country in chaos and in flux. And I think the one thing that Iran has proven is a degree of resiliency when it comes to their military. Now, they've severely been incapacitated. I don't doubt for 1 second that their nuclear program has been set back. Could be years to decades. That's not completely unclear, but they certainly don't have the capacity to build a bomb the way they might have 6 months ago. A lot of their main missile depots have been knocked out. Their military infrastructure has been knocked out. But they're still mass-producing drones at a rapid clip at a relatively cheap rate, and they are incredibly effective at doing the job that they want to do, which is basically to keep that leadership structure having some level of a heartbeat, that they haven't completely been toppled over. And it's not the same thing. You wouldn't equivocate the way the Ukrainians are standing up and defending themselves to the way the Iranians are standing up and defending themselves. And there isn't the same level of, patriotism that exists in Iran. There's obviously a lot of dissension about the way that their country is run. But this idea that Iran has just rolled over and is waiting for the U.S. to come in and take over like happened in Venezuela, I think you can argue that is what happened in Venezuela. There just isn't evidence of that. And so you also have the Russians tacitly helping them, providing intelligence about certain American military sites. So this is, there's certainly a scenario in which the president can just kind of pick up his ball and go home and say we won, and maybe everything kind of goes back to a degree of normal with Iran, maybe not as capable of an attack, but there is a ton of evidence that I should say we don't really know what his goals were, but kind of the goals that we've interpreted, I think would be very difficult to accomplish in the short window of time that this military operation's been underway.
And I also get the feeling that that this is not how that Pete Hegseth is not someone who wants necessarily to see this come to an end without finishing the job.
Well, I do think that there's been a lot of conflicting information, I guess is the best way to describe it, from the various people within the administration. If you listen to Marco Rubio, it's all about bringing in this to a diplomatic end in which the United States has the upper hand. The president literally says something different every day. One day it's we're making a deal and we're a week away from this war ending, and then the next day it's we're going to blow them into oblivion and we're not going to do it until the job's over with. And then, of course, you're right. Hegseth, loves talking about war fighters and how the American military negotiates through strength. And that could be a calculated move by the administration to approach this on many different fronts. But there isn't a real sense that there is a kind of guiding light as to where they're trying to go at the end of it. But I will say this, Bill. I think more than anything, the number one metric that I think is leading the president to this address tonight is the price at the gas pump. I mean, gas is up 34% than it was a year ago. It hasn't been over $4 as a national average for this sustained amount of time, and I think since pre-COVID. And so you're dealing with a very tangible and real problem that everyday Americans are facing. And the president's, Caroline Leavitt said yesterday, well, as soon as this ends, the price of oil is going to plummet and your gas prices are going to plummet. Well, that's a very, very big promise that they're making. And, we're dealing with it kind of on a minor level right now. In the rest of the world, this is a full-blown crisis. In India and Australia and places like that, they're rationing gas. They're preventing people from running their air conditioning at certain parts of the day. So this is becoming a huge crisis throughout the world, and it's an open question like how long it can be sustained.
All right, so we'll obviously see where all of this goes. But when the president's attention can be put on to something more domestic, will it be Cuba, or will it be domestic? And are we going back to ICE going into cities like what happened in Minnesota? You have the shutdown that still looms. Mm-hmm. There's only so much longer that they're going to be able to pay these TSA workers. There's a lot. And then, the Epstein stuff is still out there. And there have been a few bombs, what would have been bombshells probably without all of this other stuff going on. There's a lot being juggled right now.
Yeah, and I think the Department of Homeland Security shutdown is, obviously that's a kind of a front and center story for me because it's a congressional story. I think it's, one of the biggest crises this country's ever faced. You're talking about the third largest department in the federal government, facing this extended amount of time without funding. And, obviously the TSA angle of it is the most upfront issue that we're dealing with all these TSA officers calling out and the long lines at the airports. And you're right, the TSA officers have only been guaranteed their back pay. They've not been guaranteed their next paycheck or the paycheck beyond that. But beyond TSA, think about this, Bill. No FEMA worker has been paid. They still come to work every day.
Right.
No one I think this is the most alarming.
Coast Guard.
I don't think civilian members of the Coast Guard. But how about this? The Cybersecurity Information Services Administration has not been paid.
Right.
So you're talking about these are the behind-the-scenes hackers, these guys that are working in dark rooms in front of computer terminals, watching to make sure that there isn't a hacker from Russia or China or some rogue nation, Iran, that's trying to break into the water system in some municipality to prevent to shut down the water filtration system. They're coming to work every day without pay. So that you have to imagine, even though we're not seeing it happen because these people work in the shadows and they protect us without us knowing, you have to imagine the same level of fatigue and anger and frustration that exists in those airport lines exists in these people that work in our national security safety net. So, and the president just seems disengaged on this. He just doesn't seem willing to take an active role in bringing this problem to an end. And frankly, the members of Congress, both Republican and Democrat, just seem to be completely clueless as to how much the average American is annoyed by this. And TMZ, I think, is exposing this by showing them at Disney World and in Las Vegas and planning Real Housewives parties. Like, this is a big problem, and our leaders just seem to not even be addressing it at all.
Well, and I think there's blame on both sides, but I think Mike Johnson and the president last weekend, when the Senate had put a deal together, I think it was a mistake to, in my opinion, was a mistake because at that point I really feel like the pressure was on Democrats. The blame was looking to be on Democrats, and all of a sudden Democrats and Republicans cut a deal in the Senate, and it's the Republicans that kept the government shut down. I think that could turn out to be a mistake down the road.
I think you make a good argument there, Bill. Like, up until that point, it felt like the Democrats couldn't take yes for an answer.
Yes.
The Republicans kept putting deals on the table that aligned with what their goals were throughout this process, which was basically to deal with the mass deportation program and ICE's enforcement mechanism. And then finally, John Thune was like, okay, well, let's do it this way. And he got the Democrats on board. It passed unanimously. And then that still wasn't enough for the Republicans. And I said to the speaker on Friday, I said,
I saw this interview.
Putting this vote on the floor, you are extending the shutdown. His answer to me was, no, it won't. No, it won't. Well, here we are. You know, almost a week after that exchange.
No end in sight.
And the shutdown is still going.
Yeah.
And so with no end in sight.
All right, Ryan, we'll be watching through the day. We appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we'll do it again next week.
Okay, guys, have a good one.
All right, thanks so much. Ryan Nobles with NBC. You want to add any of that?
Just quickly here, comment on YouTube. What did we have here? Oh, they caught us, by the way. I got to confess.
They caught us?
So you came to me earlier and you said, get us updated on some of the comments.
Yeah.
And they said every single time there's a chance for Jeff to read comments, Bill cuts him off. It's got to be code for don't read that one.
Okay. All right. Boy, I'm glad they think I'm that brilliant.
This is a funny one, I think. I can't read what the name is. It says, McDonald's Happy Meals in East Utica now serving free McShetties with every order. I like that one.
McShetty.
It says Mike Machete, but I think what they meant was McShetty. And then law enforcement should never be able to enforce laws with masks on. That's from Mr. Nice Guy.
Beth, you want to add anything? Public market this weekend. Get there Saturday, 9 a.m. until 1.
9 to 1 inside the train station.
Good
We want to
stuff.
see you there.
It's Easter weekend, so all of that. And listen, people of all ages experience pain, and you would be surprised to find out that a lot of times it's coming from your feet. And if you walk into a good feet store, yes, there is a good feet store now in New Hartford. If you walk in, you do not need an appointment, and they'll give you a free fitting and test walk without an appointment. And there's no obligation at all. Good Feet Arch Supports. They go into your shoes or new shoes that you may purchase if you like. And it's strengtheners, maintainers, and relaxers. And you change them out through the day. You're exercising and improving your step without even realizing you're doing it. It's a game changer. It could be for you. It's the Good Feet Store. Walk in. No appointment needed. 4630 Commercial Drive in New Hartford. And we're back tomorrow. I know we're going to hit that KDILO Samantha Colosimo Testa issue, even though that's not the issue, but we're going to hit that a little bit tomorrow.
Yeah.
We believe.
Yes.
Right?
And more.
And
more, plus comments from YouTube and every place else.
All right, news is next.
WIBX Utica Road, W295 Utica. From the WB Payne Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
Iran asks for a ceasefire. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. That from President Trump minutes ago on Truth Social. He addresses the nation about Iran this evening and says he thinks the military operation there will be done in 2 to 3 weeks without the help of longtime allies in NATO.
The president's been speaking to the British news outlet The Daily Telegraph, asked if he would reconsider the United States membership